Chapter 257. In the air above the vast snowy land, Wu Kongxue, Dame Lian Yu, Fire Devil, Wu Hei and the other loose devils and Reverend Ming Liang, Reverend Ming Shan, Reverend Lan Bing, Shui Yuyang and the other loose immortals are preparing to separate. Reverend Ming Liang, that heavenly flames fiend actually knows the secret of Ni Yang realm. This person is very mysterious. Maybe he really knows Devil Pang Island's Zhong Ju. Dame Lian Yu seems to have a lot on her mind. Zhong Ju, Devil Pang Island's master, the #1 person in the chaotic astral ocean. Zhong Ju's name alone makes the experts present feel as if their hearts are being pressed by a stone. Wu Kongxue nods. That heavenly flames fiend acts mysteriously, even daring to set fire to Yingyue Palace and Qingshu Temple's gates. This person dares to do anything. And he also knows the secret of Ni Yang realm. It would be strange if he didn't tell Zhong Ju. All loose immortals and devils nod. Heavenly Flames Fiend gives them the feeling that he is not afraid of anything, the kind of person who dares to do anything. And don't forget, the person who released the green light to save Heavenly Flames Fiend, that person is also very strong. Wu Kongxue reminds everyone. Reverend Ming Liang ponders for a moment and says, Wu Kongxue, Lian Yu, I have a feeling that in the coming days, Tenglong Continent will no longer be our Tenglong Continent, all the hidden powers will step into Tenglong Continent. If we fight each other at this time, it will only benefit others. Everyone present can't help but nod in agreement. Everyone feels the pressure. In the future, there will be even more bloody battles. Now the most important thing for us is to preserve our strength. Ming Liang, even though we have been fighting each other for a long time, most of the dead are ordinary loose immortals. The number of strong loose immortals is not many. We only lost 20 to 30% of our strength. Dame Lian Yu says, I think, we should stop fighting for now. We must not let the Dragon Clan, Chaotic Astral Ocean and other hidden powers take advantage of us. Reverend Ming Liang ponders and nods. What Lian Yu said makes sense. Wu Kongxue also doesn't disturb the situation. Because at the moment Wu Kongxue also feels the pressure, not only the sneak attack just now, there are also two invincible existences. Dragon Clan leader Fong Tian, Devil Pang Island's master Zhong Ju. After this battle, the loose immortals and loose immortals side temporarily stop fighting. Times high up in the clouds, Yu Liang gazed at the place where the loose immortals and loose devils had gathered a moment ago. Master, why did you save the Heavenly Flames Fiend just now? Wu Shan frowned. The person who wanted to save Qin Yu was Yu Liang, but for Yu Liang to save Qin Yu in front of so many people was too difficult. Later, Yu Liang saw the mysterious Heavenly Flames Fiend escape and did not pursue. Wu Shan, that Heavenly Flames Fiend is not an ordinary person. Yu Liang says with a smile. To be able to release so much heavenly flame and even burn down the entire Yingyue mountain range and Mount Qingshu, you must be a genius. Even under the joint attack of the loose immortals and loose devils, he was still able to easily escape. Kong Chao, the head of the three demons under Yu Liang, nodded. This heavenly flame fiend cannot be provoked. Why not? Wu Shan was the least intelligent of the three monsters. One of the three great demons, Xing Shou, laughed. Think about it, this heavenly flames fiend may not be strong, but his ability to escape is absolutely unparalleled. And he also has the unique skill of releasing heavenly flame. If anyone provokes him, he will burn down your lair with heavenly flame. You can't catch him, how can you provoke him? Wu Shan suddenly realized, this heavenly flames fiend really can't be provoked, you can't catch him, if you provoke him, he will release heavenly flame to burn your lair. Yes, his power is not that great, but he is also a person who cannot be provoked. Yu Liang nodded. At first I wanted to save this heavenly flames fiend and make him my subordinate, but he has such a skill of escaping. I think it will be very difficult to recruit this person. Making people afraid does not necessarily require a strong attack power, as long as you have an ability that makes people unable to do anything to you. After the Yingyue Palace and Qingshu Temple were burned down, the entire Tenglong Continent's countless self-cultivators knew the name Heavenly Flames Fiend. No matter which school, the list of people who cannot be offended was written down by the Heavenly Flames Fiend. Even Wu Kongxue, Reverend Ming Liang and the others together could not catch him. Who can? He can destroy your lair with heavenly flame. Who dares to provoke him? Because of this, Heavenly Flame's fiend became a legendary figure in the Tanglong continent, most famous for his mysterious escape skills and ability to control Heavenly Flame. Times there are countless snowflakes on the vast snowy ground. Under the snow is moist soil, and one of the soil is the Qingyu Immortal Mansion. Inside the Qingyu Immortal Mansion, in a small courtyard, the three brothers Qin Yu, Hou Fei and Kuro are drinking, and Shibing, Shirexian, Shizhan and the Ink Qilin are also eating and drinking in a nearby courtyard. Big brother, you are really insidious, saying you have an escape ability, but in fact you are hiding in the Qingyu Immortal Mansion, haha. But this is still an incredible escape method. How could that Reverend Ming Liang and Wu Kongxue know we are here? Hou Fei seems very proud. Qin Yu at the moment has no injuries on his body. His super recovery ability makes him almost immortal. It is really abnormal. It's just that what I said just now scared them. They actually stopped fighting. Qin Yu smiles indifferently. As the owner of the Qingyu Immortal Mansion, outsiders cannot investigate the inside of the Qingyu Immortal Mansion, but Qin Yu can easily know everything that is happening outside. Just now when the loose immortals and loose devils were talking above the snowy ground, Qin Yu heard everything clearly. Kuro slightly frowns. Big brother, you said you will tell the Devil Pang Island about the existence of the Ni Yang realm. You really will? Hou Fei also looks at Qin Yu. Of course, with the chaotic astral ocean joining in, isn't this more interesting? Qin Yu smiles again. What's more, the three island masters of the Devil Pang Island of the chaotic astral ocean have a close relationship with me, even though this Ni Yang realm is dangerous, but at the same time it is also a great opportunity. Letting friends participate is better than letting enemies enter the Ni Yang realm, isn't it? In the future, Qin Yu and his brothers will also step into the Ni Yang realm. At that time, the more friends that enter the Ni Yang realm, the safer Qin Yu and the rest will be. The three brothers chatted for a while, then Qin Yu takes out a transmission talisman and sends a message to the Devil Pang Island Master Zhong Ju. Even though the Qingyu Immortal Mansion has the function of isolating transmission, Qin Yu is the owner of the Qingyu Immortal Mansion, so naturally he will not be affected by this restriction. The chaotic astral ocean is a vast and boundless ocean, and who knows how many loose practitioners are there. The Devil Pang Island, the head of the three strongest islands of the chaotic astral ocean, is as quiet as always. No one dares to come to the Devil Pang Island to be arrogant, not only because the 3,000 loose practitioners of the Devil Pang Island are strong, but also because of the twin Azura Devils. The most important thing is still the legendary invincible Zhong Ju, the number one person in the chaotic astral ocean in reality. Inside the Golden Feather Palace, Zhong Ju flips his hand and takes out a transmission talisman. Oh, it's actually little friend Qin Yu. Senior Lon said that little brother Qin Yu will bring me a good opportunity. I don't know when that opportunity will come. Zhong Ju smiles faintly and starts to communicate with Qin Yu through the transmission talisman, but after a short while, Zhong Ju's indifferent expression changes. Little brother Qin Yu, is what you said true? Ni Yang's realm, the lair left behind by a level 8 mystic immortal sword immortal Emperor Ni Yang? At this moment, Zhong Ju is like a poor man seeing an endless mountain of gold. Immortals are divided into 3 levels: Sky Immortal, Golden Immortal, and Mystic Immortal. Each level is divided into 9 levels. A level 8 Mystic Immortal is already in existence that looks down on the immortal world, and this immortal Emperor Ni Yang is actually a level 8 Mystic Immortal Sword Immortal. This kind of expert is definitely one of the top few in the immortal world, devil world, and demon world. What kind of treasure would be left behind by such a person? Senior Zhong, don't worry, Junior is 100% sure that it is the lair of a level 8 Mystic Immortal Sword Immortal, and the treasures inside are even more shocking. Qin Yu's transmission makes Zhong Ju's heart excited. I'm afraid there is a divine artifact. Zhong Ju is slightly excited. As a super divine beast golden-winged great Pang, Zhong Ju knows a lot of secrets. The immortal world, devil world, and demon world are all in the same space. They only occupy a part of that huge space. The top existences of the immortal, devil, and demon world all have divine artifacts. To enter Ni Yang's realm, you must gather 3 heaven-sundering diagrams. Of these 3 heaven-sundering diagrams, one is in the hands of the Dragon Clan, one is in the hands of the Loose Immortals, and one is in the hands of the Loose Devils. To obtain them, there is a certain degree of difficulty. Qin Yu carefully explained everything. What? 3 heaven-sundering diagrams? Zhong Ju slightly frowns. Looking at the information regarding the heaven-sundering diagrams that Qin Yu sent, Zhong Ju slightly ponders for a moment. After that, Zhong Ju and Qin Yu carefully discussed many details. Senior Lan is right. Little brother Qin Yu has indeed brought me a good opportunity. Zhong Ju's eyes shine, suddenly standing up from his seat. I haven't fought for many years. My hands are almost itching. Zhong Ju's eyes flashed with a trace of fierce light. The golden-winged Great Pang is a vicious bird. Its ferocity is extremely terrifying. Before Zhong Ju met Uncle Lan, he was also a domineering person filled with killing intent. However, after getting along with Uncle Lan, Zhong Ju's temperament has been tempered, and is already very restrained. However, the ferocity in his bones has always been hidden in the deepest part. A dog that bites does not bark, it has the same meaning. This usually calm Zhong Ju is even more terrifying than the Zhong Ju who was filled with killing intent in the past. Second sister, Lian Xiao, quickly come over. Zhong Ju directly transmits his voice. In merely a moment, the 12th Tribulation Loose Devil Hu Yi and her husband Lian Xiao have already rushed over. Big brother, what's the matter that's so urgent? Hu Yi says with a smile. Ever since her big brother and Senior Lan got along for a period of time, her big brother's personality has become a lot more restrained, and is rarely this excited. Big event, big happy event, haha. Zhong Ju cannot help laughing out loud. Hu Yi and Lian Xiao look at each other, they are curious. In the end, what matter can make their big brother so happy? Do you still remember? At that time, my subordinates reported to me that many loose practitioners belonging to the Tanglong continent rushed back. The Loose Immortals and Loose Devils of the Tanglong continent are fighting each other for some heaven-sundering diagram? Zhong Ju asks in reply. Hu Yi and Lian Xiao nod. Of course I remember, it's just a diagram, what's so great about it? Hu Yi says with a faint smile. Although they know that the Loose Immortals and Loose Devils are fighting for it, this heaven-sundering diagram is definitely precious, but because the experts of the chaotic astral ocean don't know what's so precious about it, they are disinclined to participate. The heaven-sundering diagram is related to a treasure, the lair of a level 8 mystic immortal sword Immortal Emperor. Zhong Ju says with a smile. Level 8 mystic immortal. Hu Yi and Lian Xiao are almost scared silly. Big brother, did you say it wrong? A level 8 golden immortal is already very amazing. A lair of a level 8 mystic immortal? Hu Yi and Lian Xiao simply can't believe it. Moreover, this immortal emperor is the sword immortal with the strongest attack power, a level 8 mystic immortal sword immortal. Zhong Ju can't help but sigh, second sister, Lian Xiao. Those 3 heaven-sundering diagrams contain the map to the mystic immortal's lair. Hu Yi and Lian Xiao's eyes can't help but brighten. Although they stand at the top of the mortal world, once their strength ascends to the upper world, they are nothing. If they can get some treasures from the lair of a level 8 mystic immortal, it will not be difficult to become a feudal lord in the upper world. No matter where it is, strength is the most important. Second sister, immediately notify Drifting Cloud Islands Fu Yunzi and Black Wind Islands Shihua, the 2 brothers. At the same time, use my command to summon all the experts of the chaotic astral ocean to my Devil Pang Island. Our chaotic astral ocean doesn't move, but once we move, we must get something. Zhong Ju's eyes are shining. Yes, big brother. Hu Yi's heart is also excited. The strength of the chaotic astral ocean's 3 big islands is already very strong, and those forces inferior to the 3 big islands also have many experts. Once they gather together, it will be an extremely terrifying force. It's been a long time since I've personally fought, many people have almost forgotten me. Zhong Ju takes a deep breath, his eyes looking through the gate of Golden Wing Palace to the distance. Zhong Ju is the spiritual pillar of the chaotic astral ocean. Many experts worship Zhong Ju. Following Zhong Ju's command, the experts of the 3 big islands of the chaotic astral ocean, as well as the top 10 forces, one by one gather towards the Devil Peng Island. Devil Peng Island's Master Zhong Ju's command. Who dares to disobey? Unprecedented, because of Zhong Ju's command, the chaotic astral ocean has gathered together unprecedentedly. In terms of experts, Teng Long Continent's loose immortals and loose devils combined cannot compare with the chaotic astral ocean. In the vast chaotic astral ocean, countless experts have been born one by one, and the leader is the invincible existence of the mortal world, Zhong Ju. Chapter 258. The remaining several tens of thousands of loose devils majestically fly towards the Inue mountain range. Since the loose devils and loose immortals have stopped fighting, naturally the loose devil army no longer needs to fight. At the front of the loose devil army are Wu Kongxue, Dame Lian Yu, Wu Hei, Fire Devil and the others. Wu Kongxue, now that we've stopped fighting with the loose immortals and the time for the devil emissary to descend to the mortal world is approaching, should we protect the heaven-sundering diagram like this until the emissary arrives? Dame Lian Yu says via holy sense. Wu Kongxue is startled. Devil emissary descending to the mortal world? When? How come I don't know? Wu Kongxue seems to be very sensitive about the devil emissary descending to the mortal world. Dame Lian Yu says via holy sense, the devil emissaries naturally have a special way to communicate with us. As for when they'll descend to the mortal world, to be honest, I'm also not very clear. I only know one thing. The time for the devil emissary to descend to the mortal world is approaching. Wu Kongxue nods. Lian Yu, do you know how the devil emissaries descend to the mortal world? As far as I know, it's very difficult to cross the barrier between the two worlds. Wu Kongxue asks in reply. Dame Lian Yu ponders for a while. Wu Kongxue, I also know that it's very difficult to go from one world to another. But the Devil Emperor told me that there would definitely be a devil emissary descending to the mortal world. Since the Devil Emperor said so, of course I won't doubt it. But maybe it's because descending to the mortal world is very difficult that the devil emissary hasn't descended to the mortal world yet. Dame Lian Yu guesses. According to Dame Lian Yu's thinking, if descending to the mortal world was easy, given how much the Devil Emperor valued Immortal Emperor Ni Yang's treasure, he would have already sent someone to descend to the mortal world. A few days ago, the Devil Emissary even ordered me to protect the heaven-sundering diagram. The day for the emissary to descend is not far away. Dame Lian Yu says with a sigh. For these top experts of the mortal world, facing the emissary from the immortal world is actually a very difficult task. Let's not care about descending to the mortal world for the time being. What we need to do now is to rebuild the Inue mountain range. This is not only for the Yu Palace but also for the place where the loose devils live. Wu Kongxue says to this point and frowns. After all, he couldn't let the loose devils live in the wilderness. It was just that the Inue mountain range was still under construction. Is the Yu mountain range? Dame Lian Yu is very annoyed. After being burned to such a state by the heavenly fire, even the rocks were charred, and there was no soil left at all. How could one plant trees and plants in such a mountain range? How could one build a mountain gate? A sect that had existed for 1,000,000 years had been reduced to such a state. Who wouldn't be angry? Heavenly Flame's fiend. Thinking of the culprit, Dame Lian Yu could not help but gnash her teeth. As they flew forward, the loose devil army finally arrived at the Inue mountain range. Your Highness, something bad has happened. A loose devil of the Inue Palace who is investigating the situation in the surroundings hurriedly rushes to the front of Dame Lian Yu in shock. Dame, the lucky loose devils and the lucky disciples of the Inue mountain range are all dead. They're all dead. Dame Lian Yu's devil sense had already discovered all of this. Her whole body began to tremble. The newly built buildings in the Inue mountain range were covered in blood, and corpses were scattered everywhere. When Qin Yu burned down the entire Inue mountain range with his heavenly flame, there were still quite a few loose devil experts who survived. Afterwards, when Wu Kongxue brought experts back, there were still several hundred loose devils and several hundred disciples of the Inue Palace in the Inue mountain range. These loose devils and disciples then rebuilt the sect here. Who would have thought that when they came back today, they would find that these people were all dead? The last batch of disciples also died. Dame Lian Yu felt her heart tremble. Wu Kongshue's face was gloomy. After carefully observing for a while using his devil sense, he says, "Lian Yu, the people who launched the attack were very few. I estimate there were only 2 or 3 people who launched the attack. It's just that these 2 or 3 people were too strong. So strong that they killed everyone, and these several hundred loose devils and disciples did not have time to send out a message for help. On the way back, no one received a message for help. Obviously, this batch of loose devils and the lucky disciples did not have time to call for help when they were killed. Who is it in the end? Even my Inue Palace's last batch of disciples were killed." Dame Lian Yu's whole body exudes a terrifying killing intent. Now in the Inue Palace, other than the loose devils, the remaining disciples are probably the individual disciples scattered outside. Wu Kongxue also frowns. Fire Devil suddenly says, "Brother Wu, what about the heaven sundering diagram? Did you put it on these ordinary loose devils?" Immediately, the several big loose devils all look at Wu Kongxue. If Wu Kongxue really put the heaven sundering diagram on those dead loose devils, it is very likely that it would have been snatched away by someone. No, of course not. Wu Kongxue says with a cold smile. "Once bitten, twice shy. Now I've already put the heaven sundering diagram in a very safe place. No matter who it was, even if they racked their brains, they wouldn't be able to figure it out." Wu Kongxue appears to be very confident. In the immortal realm, the Qingshu Temple can't even be considered a power. It's just struggling at death's door. However, because the mortal realm's Qingshu Temple obtained a heaven-sundering diagram, the status of the Qingshu Temple's elders in the immortal realm immediately started to rise. Reverend Ming Liang's martial granduncle was specially arranged to communicate with him. In the eyes of the immortal realm's Emperor Yu, the status of Reverend Ming Liang's elders is far inferior to Reverend Ming Liang's. This time, I've contacted you to tell you that the immortal realm's emissary will probably descend to the mortal realm within a month. The location of his descent should be the Qingshu Temple's location. When the time comes, you must prepare to welcome him. Reverend Ming Liang's martial granduncle entrusts. Rest assured, martial granduncle, when have I ever disappointed you? Reverend Ming Liang says with a light smile. Isn't it just welcoming the emissary from the immortal realm? It's just a small matter. Reverend Ming Liang's martial granduncle says with a smile. That's right. You are indeed the most outstanding disciple of the Qingshu Temple in countless years. It's also because of you that the countless elders of the Qingshu Temple have had their lives changed dramatically in the immortal realm. Ming Liang, let me tell you, Emperor Yu's status in the immortal realm is very high. You can't go wrong by following him closely. I know. Reverend Ming Liang nods. Martial granduncle, do you know how powerful the immortal realm's emissary is? Reverend Ming Liang asks. This martial granduncle ponders for a moment and says, Ming Liang, I'm also unable to determine how powerful the immortal realm's emissary is. That's because it's already very difficult to break the barrier between the two realms and open a temporary passageway. Only by making the passageway even more stable can it allow a powerful person to pass through. Ming Liang, in my opinion, breaking the barrier between the two realms is simply an inconceivable matter. It's just that for a top-notch existence like Emperor Yu, their abilities aren't something I can imagine. It should be possible for them to break the barrier between the two realms. However, I think that the passageway formed won't be too stable. Therefore, it's impossible for a profound immortal-level expert to pass through. The martial granduncle says with uncertainty. Reverend Ming Liang nods. He understands that the more powerful a person is, the more stable the passageway needed to pass through the barrier between the two realms. And the more stable a passageway is, the more difficult it is to form. And if an extremely powerful expert wants to pass through an unstable passageway, that unstable passageway won't be able to withstand it and will collapse. And that expert will also fall into the crevice between the two realms and be crushed by the energy of the spatial crevice. The fighting between the loose immortals and the loose devils temporarily stops. The entire Tanglong continent temporarily enters a temporary period of peace. And regardless of whether it's the loose devils, loose immortals, or the Dragon Clan, they all receive messages from the immortal realm, saying that their respective emissaries will descend to the mortal world very soon. The emissaries of the immortal realm represent the experts of the immortal realm. How can their strength be ordinary? Chapter 259. No matter how chaotic the outside world is, this Qingyu immortal mansion is very quiet. Surrounded by spiritual energy, Qingyu sits cross-legged on the bed, quietly cultivating. Suddenly, Qingyu opens his eyes. A nimble halo moves in Qinyu's eyes. 5 months later, the 9 from 9th heaven tribulation will come in 5 months. I don't know how powerful the 9 from 9th heaven tribulation will be. Qinyu's eyes can't help but emit traces of excitement. The legendary most difficult 9 from 9th heaven tribulation will come in 5 months. During this period of seclusion, Qinyu has made a lot of progress. His soul originally reached the peak of the late Dujie stage, but now it has reached the Deshang stage. He can even foresee the day of his 9 from 9th heaven tribulation. Walking out of the house, he looks at the boundless sky of the immortal mansion. Tanglong continent should be in a precarious situation now. I should also go out. Just don't know what the people of the chaotic astral ocean are doing now? Qinyu thinks for a moment, then turns around and walks towards his brother's residence. Times chaotic astral ocean, Demon Pang Island. Golden Feather Palace is holding a banquet. The guests who can attend this banquet are at least 10th tribulation loose practitioners. Even so, there are still more than 50 people in Golden Feather Palace. Just from the number of 10th tribulation and above experts, one can see the astonishing strength of the chaotic astral ocean. In terms of experts, even the loose devils and loose immortals added together are not as good as the chaotic astral ocean. The number 1 expert of the chaotic astral ocean, the invincible existence, Zhongju, is sitting in the main hall, with a faint smile on his face. Ladies and gentlemen, some time ago, the loose devils and loose immortals of the Tanglong continent fought each other for the heaven-sundering diagram. It is actually worth them fighting like this. This heaven-sundering diagram must be an extraordinary treasure, and this island master is very interested in that heaven-sundering diagram, so I decided to participate. Zhongju doesn't want too many people to know about Ni Yang's realm. After all, the originally united chaotic astral ocean is very likely to become chaotic. Fu Yunzi, Shi Tu. What do you 2 island masters think? Zhongju doesn't ask other people, but asks the other 2 island masters of the chaotic astral ocean. Fu Yunzi, 12th tribulation loose immortal, the head of the 3 island masters of Drifting Cloud Island. Petrify was the eldest of the 2 brothers on the Raven Gale Island. The name, Petrification, of a mythological beast of the 11th tribulation was very common. Because he was a mythological beast of the Petrification beast, it was very easy to come up with such a name. However, the power of the petrified beasts could be seen from the fact that the 2 brothers could be called the overlords of one of the 3 major islands. Since Brother Zhong has said so, how could I not agree? Fu Yunzi always had a smile on his face. What's more, my chaotic astral ocean hasn't really fought for a long time. I reckon that those sects of the Tanglong continent still think that they are amazing. It's time for them to understand the gap between us and them. The people of the chaotic astral ocean always think that they are far superior to other forces. Although he was overconfident, it was the truth. In the chaotic astral ocean, that boundless sea area, there were countless dangerous and treasured lands, and one after another, extraordinary experts were born. Brother Petrified, what do you say? Fu Yunzi looked at Petrified. Petrify has a dark face. He says with a simple and honest smile, I haven't really fought in the chaotic astral ocean for a long time. My hands are itching. Let's go to the Tanglong continent for a stroll. Zhongju nods his head. The second master of the Devil Pang Island, Hu Yi, says with a smile, if my chaotic astral ocean doesn't fight, then we have to shock all the forces. There are a total of 3 pieces of the heaven-sundering diagram. One of them is in the Dragon Clan. The difficulty of obtaining it is very high. The more than 50 people in the main hall all nod their heads. The patriarch of the Dragon Clan is an invincible expert on par with Zhong-ju. The other two pieces are much easier to obtain. One is in the hands of the loose devils and the other is in the hands of the loose immortals. As Hu-yi said this, the loose devils below begin to speak. The loose immortals and loose devils of the Tenglong continent? Haha, wouldn't it be fine if we directly snatched the heaven-sundering diagrams from both sides? The leader of the 8th ranked force of the chaotic astral ocean, a 12th tribulation loose devil Suoli, says with a loud laugh. Suoli, do you think it's so easy to snatch? How could the side of loose devils and loose immortals not know the preciousness of this heaven-sundering diagram? I think these two sides will certainly not hide this treasure on the person with the highest power, that way it would be too easy to expose. A seductive woman said with a smile. Hui says in agreement, what little sister Ji Chao said is very reasonable. Even if we kill a large number of loose devils and Wu Kongxue, it will still be very difficult to find the heaven-sundering diagram. If we go to deal with the loose immortals, our chances of success will be much higher. I think that heaven-sundering diagram is most likely inside the 10 development illusionary formation. The 10 development illusionary formation, the loose immortals believe that there will be absolutely no problems, so naturally they will put the heaven-sundering diagram inside the formation. What little sister said is reasonable. If we want to start the first battle, we have to go to Mount Qingshu. Zhong-ju says. Another 12th tribulation loose devil below says with a frown, Brother Zong, Mount Qingshu's heavenly palace is protected by the 10 development illusionary formation. It will be very difficult to break it. This 12th tribulation loose devil is called Yi Zong. He is one of the top figures in the entire chaotic astral ocean. Zhong-ju's face turns cold. Oh, you think I can't break that 10 development illusionary formation? Zhong-ju asks back. Yi Zong cannot help but feel a chill in his heart. He quickly says, of course not, who would doubt Brother Zong's strength? Just now I was confused, now I'm awake. This 10 development illusionary formation is very powerful in front of me, but in front of Brother Zong, it is nothing. Zhong-ju nods indifferently. There are a total of 5 12th tribulation loose practitioners in the chaotic astral ocean. Hu-yi, Fu Yunzi, Suoli, Ji Chao and Yi Zong. Of course, other than Zhong-ju, the 5 strongest people are not all these 5 people. For example, the 11th tribulation divine beast Petrify. Apart from Hu-yi who can barely beat him, the other 4 people cannot defeat Petrify. The 12th tribulation loose practitioners also have some powerful divine beasts. Zhong-ju indeed has a lot of super experts under his command. Zhong-ju frowns in the main hall. Suddenly Zhong-ju says in a clear voice, everyone, please enjoy your meal. I have something important to do, so I will leave for a moment. After saying that, Zhong-ju's whole body disappears into thin air. Below, Hu-yi, Lian Xiao, Fu Yunzi and the other experts are all puzzled. What is it that makes Zhong-ju leave so quickly? Times the raging waves beat against the shore, and the dark reef was worn down until it was extremely smooth. On this huge reef that is less than 100 meters long and wide, there are 2 people standing at the moment. One person is wearing a golden robe, his body exudes a noble aura, his face always has a faint smile. The other person is wearing a dark green robe, the edges of the robe are inlaid with gold, but his face has a touch of arrogance. These 2 people are the 2 unparalleled experts standing at the peak of the mortal world. The 12th tribulation loose practitioners are already extremely strong, and these 2 are not only 12th tribulation loose practitioners, but also divine beasts. Moreover, they are the rarest and noblest among the divine beasts, super divine beasts. Even in the upper realm, the number of super divine beasts is pitifully small, not to mention the mortal world. 2 experts standing at the peak of the mortal world meeting. What is it for? Fong Tian, how rare, you actually came to find me personally. What is it for? Zhong-ju inquires. When the banquet was going on, Zhong-ju received a message from the Dragon Clan leader, Fong Tian, so Zhong-ju directly left the banquet to have a good talk with Fong Tian. Fong Tian looks at Zhong-ju and smiles. Zhong-ju, can't I say that it is for an old friend to catch up? Zhongju also smiles. Of course you can, but with your character, I don't believe it. You really understand me. Feng Tian chuckles and says, this time I asked you to come here for a very important matter. I received news that you gathered a large number of loose cultivator experts in the chaotic astral ocean. Many of those super experts even gathered at the Devil Pang Island. Is this true? Zhongju's face turns cold. Yes. Do you want to obstruct me from gathering people? No. Feng Tian says, of course not. I just want to ask you, do you know the secret of the heaven sundering diagram, so you want to gather so many experts? So what if I know, so what if I don't know? Zhongju looks at Feng Tian. Feng Tian is startled, then immediately laughs. Zhongju, you are still as arrogant as before. Looking at your aura just now, I see that your temperament has improved a lot. Now it seems that your temper hasn't changed, still so arrogant. How can something in the bones change, just like your 5-clawed golden dragon, always having a noble appearance? Zhongju curls his lips. Let's not talk about this, I really want to know, do you know the secret of the heaven sundering diagram? Feng Tian says seriously. Seeing Feng Tian's seriousness, Zhongju smiles and nods. Yes, I know the secret of the heaven sundering diagram, isn't it related to the Ni Yang realm? Feng Tian hears the two words Ni Yang realm, and smiles bitterly. The loose devils and loose immortals know this secret, but I don't care, because I have never put them in my eyes. I have always hoped that you don't know this secret, because I know that once you know the secret of the Ni Yang realm, with your character, you will definitely participate. Fighting with you is really a headache. In the entire mortal world, the only one who can threaten Feng Tian is Zhongju. Zhongju is difficult to deal with. Feng Tian is of course clear in his heart. In terms of speed, Feng Tian can't catch up to Zhongju. In terms of defense, Feng Tian is only slightly stronger. In terms of attack power, the two are equally matched, but Zhongju's speed is too fast. Once the two fight, if Zhongju relies on speed to fight, Feng Tian will be very sullen. Fighting with me gives you a headache, but fighting with you, I am very excited. Zhongju says with a smile. Feng Tian breathes a sigh of relief. Well, since you have decided to join, I will tell you a secret. Oh. Zhongju's eyes lit up. A secret that is worth Feng Tian to say, is definitely not an ordinary secret. The main characters exploring the Ni Yang realm may not be us, we are only playing a supporting role. Because whether it is the demon world, immortal world, or devil world, there will be emissaries descending to the mortal world. Feng Tian says casually. Emissaries descending to the mortal world from the higher realms? Zhongju frowns. Feng Tian continues. Yes, the secret I want to tell you is, what level of power the emissaries of the higher realms have. The emissaries descending to the mortal world mentioned just now is not the secret Feng Tian wants to tell. In Feng Tian's eyes, it is not a secret. The power of the emissaries of the higher realms, this is the real big secret. You know this too? Zhongju is shocked. Feng Tian laughs. Zhongju, you don't know this, right? Even if the emissaries sent by the Dragon Clan have higher power than me, they still have to be respectful to me. Then why? Zhongju asks back. Feng Tian stares at Zhongju for a while, until Zhongju feels scared. Feng Tian then continues, I really don't know how you became a super divine beast. You have no connection with the higher realms, so you don't know many things about the higher realms. In the demon world, the number of super divine beasts is pitifully small, and every super divine beast has a very revered status. So, even if the emissaries of the demon world's dragon clan have higher power than me, because I'm a 5-clawed golden dragon, they have to be respectful to me. Zhongju understands in his heart. Super divine beasts are really too rare, and in the demon world's dragon clan, super divine beasts have a very high status. I am also the reason why I know the power of the emissaries of the higher realms. Feng Tian says confidently. As a super divine beast 5-clawed golden dragon, once he ascends to the demon world's dragon clan, his status will be very high. Those demon world experts who communicate with Fong Tian usually answer his questions, because they also know that Fong Tian's future status will be very high. What kind of power does the emissaries of the higher realms have? Zhong Ju inquires. Fong Tian smiles. Before I say this, I want you to understand a principle. In order for the emissaries of the higher realms to go to the mortal world, they must first break through the barrier between the two realms and form a temporary passage. Breaking through the barrier between the two realms is extremely difficult even for level 8 and level 9 mystic immortals. However, the experts of the demon world, immortal world, and devil world are all trying to break through the barrier between the two realms, but this passage is not very stable. Not very stable passage? Zhong Ju frowns. You mean this passage can't withstand two strong experts? This is the same as crossing a bridge. A small bridge can only withstand so much weight of a car. If the weight of the car exceeds the capacity, the bridge will break. In the same way, an unstable passage can only withstand experts within a certain range. If the experts are too strong, the passage will collapse. And according to the experts of the higher realms, the emissaries should be demon kings, devil kings, golden immortals, level 1 or 2. But the immortal weapons of these experts, devil weapons, demon weapons, and immortal weapons are all the same, only the people using them are different, must be the most powerful. And these emissaries must be elites. Fong Tian says seriously. Zhong Ju also feels pressure in his heart. Although these emissaries were not much stronger than them, since they were sent as emissaries, even if they were limited by the passage, their cultivation could not be too high, but their immortal tools must be the best, their spirit pills must be the best, and all kinds of treasures must be plentiful. The cultivation method they cultivated must be the strongest, and they belong to the top of the elites. Don't worry, that's a matter for the future. Moreover, as long as they haven't descended to the mortal world yet, who knows what level of power the emissaries of the higher realms have? Right, let me ask you, what is the target of your first attack in the chaotic astral ocean? Fong Tian asks. The target of my first attack? Zhong Ju smiles. Qingshu Mountain's heavenly palace. Fong Tian's eyes brighten, a smile on his face. Chapter 260. Haha, Zhong Ju, I finally know what great minds think alike means. Fong Tian appeared to be very happy. Hero? You're really modest. Zhong Ju gives an indifferent smile. From what you said, it seems your Dragon Clan's goal is also Mount Qingshu's heavenly palace? Fong Tian nods and says solemnly, that's right. The reason why my Dragon Clan hasn't taken action until now isn't because we're afraid of the Tenglong continent's Xiationists. In fact, Wu Kongxue and Reverend Ming Liang are nothing to me. The real reason is, having a piece of the heaven sundering diagram is already enough for us. Since it's already enough, why does your Dragon Clan want to deal with Mount Qingshu's heavenly palace? Zhong Ju asked in reply. Fong Tian let out a long sigh. He muttered to himself for a long time before saying, Zhong Ju, what do you think is the probability of a super divine beast appearing in the mortal world? Zhong Ju was startled. He pondered for a long time before saying, it's very low. Sometimes, there won't be one in hundreds of thousands of years. Why do you ask? Fong Tian continued, even among the dragons of the demon realm, 5-clawed golden dragons are shockingly rare. It was rare for a super divine beast to appear in the mortal world. A 12th tribulation super divine beast was far more powerful than an ordinary 12th tribulation expert. It is precisely because of this that only the two of us are able to enter the 10 development illusionary formation in the mortal world. The 10 development illusionary formation is really too strong. Other than me, even a 12th tribulation high-level divine beast can forget about breaking in. Once the two of us ascend, then no one in the mortal realm will be able to break the 10 development illusionary formation. Fong Tian's face becomes serious. When the time comes, the Qingshu Temple will rely on the 10 development illusionary formation to provoke anyone. Therefore, I will never allow anything that breaks the fairness. Fong Tian was thinking for the future of the dragon race. Now that the Dragon Clan had him, they could ignore the 10 development illusionary formation. But once he, Fong Tian, ascended, who could easily enter and exit the 10 development illusionary formation. At that time, with a 10 development illusionary formation, the Qingshu Temple will fear nothing. Unfair? Zhong Ju sneered. It is indeed unfair. Feng Tian, let me ask you, the defensive formation of the Stellar Tower, the Great Heavenly Cycle Stellar Formation, is even more powerful than the 10 development illusionary formation. What are you going to do about it? Star Pavilion? Feng Tian's expression froze. Noticing Zhong Ju's expression, Feng Tian could guess that Zhong Ju was definitely related to this Star Pavilion. I've also heard of the Star Pavilion's defensive array. That array was something that even the combined forces of so many experts couldn't break. Even if I wanted to break it, I don't have the ability to do so. I want to, but I don't have the strength, Feng Tian said helplessly. That's good. Zhong Ju coldly snorted. Feng Tian, don't blame me for not reminding you. I am indebted to Senior Lan, who is behind the Stellar Pavilion. His strength is unfathomable and far surpasses yours and mine. If you offend him, you can't blame me if you die. Far surpass you and me? How is that possible? Feng Tian's face was filled with disbelief. Zhong Ju didn't say much. I've already told you about this matter. As for whether you believe it or not, it's up to you. I can only tell you that it's best not to provoke the people of the Star Pavilion. That Star Pavilion is the only mysterious power that I can't figure out in all these years. Feng Tian nodded and did not speak. He had already engraved Zhong Ju's words into his heart. Well, then I'll take my leave first. 15 days later, it will be the day my chaotic Astral Ocean troops attack Mount Qingshu. If your Dragon Clan wants to get involved, I won't mind. After Zhong Ju finished speaking, he disappeared into thin air. Feng Tian stood alone on the dark reef where the waves were crashing. His long robe fluttered in the wind, making flapping noises. The Star Pavilion seems to be even more mysterious than I thought. 15 days to attack Mount Qingshu. Yes, it's a good day, Feng Tian muttered to himself. Soon after, he disappeared from the black reef. The sound of waves crashing against the reef did not change in the slightest. Times on the boundless snowy ground, a long time ago, it was the place where the top experts of the Loose Devils and Loose Immortals besieged the Heavenly Flames Fiend. But now the battlefield is completely white. The bloodstains have long been buried by the snow. Suddenly, 3 young people appeared out of thin air on the snowy ground. One of them could only be considered a teenager, only 16 or 17 years old. The other 2 looked to be 21 or 22 years old. The 3 looked slow but were actually fast. In a few steps, they were already a few miles away. Then the 3 brothers flew into the air at a moderate speed. Big brother, you can't be careless about this 9 heavenly tribulation. If it wasn't for Uncle Lan's help and the special power of the black stick and cloud-piercing spear, we probably wouldn't have been able to pass. I reckon the 2 of us would have failed the tribulation and become loose demons. Ho Fei said seriously. Ever since they knew that Qin Yu was about to pass the 9 heavenly tribulation, Ho Fei and Kuro often reminded Qin Yu to be well prepared. Don't worry, the black stick and cloud-piercing spear are really tough. But I'm your big brother, I also have a lot of abilities. Even if the 9 heavenly tribulation is strong, it won't be able to stop me. Qin Yu said with a light smile. Even though his tone was flat, it contained absolute confidence. If he couldn't pass the 9 heavenly tribulation even with his super recovery ability, would anyone in history succeed? Even though these words were a bit exaggerated, Qin Yu's super recovery ability could indeed be considered as an undying body. Even if he consumed a lot of power, he would still recover quickly. This would allow Qin Yu to face every single tribulation lightning bolt in his strongest state. Brother Wang, did you hear? If the Inyue mountain range is in the middle of a desperate battle, some mysterious people actually directly charged into the core of the loose demon army. Now the Inyue mountain range is already in a state of carnage, even the space is shaking non-stop. The voice from afar made Qin Yu pause. The Inyue mountain range started fighting again? Qin Yu was puzzled. According to what he thought and what he eavesdropped that day, the loose immortal side and the loose demon side should have stopped fighting. Why did they start fighting again? Qin Yu didn't have time to think too much. He immediately flew towards the sound. However, Hou Fei's flying speed was even faster than Qin Yu's. Long before Qin Yu arrived, Hou Fei had already arrived. Hey, tell me, what's actually going on in the Inue mountain range? As soon as Hou Fei's voice rose, Qin Yu and Kuro arrived at the side of those two Xiamoists. These two Xiamoists were not very powerful. One was at the middle Dongshu stage while the other was at the late Dongshu stage. The gap between them and the current Qin Yu brothers was really very big. One of the Xiamoists holding a black long sword felt terrified at first sight of Hou Fei because the pressure he felt from him was really too great. It was even more terrifying than the aura of his own school. This Xiamoists immediately said in terror, "Senior, I only heard about it from hearsay, so I don't know the actual situation. I only know that there is a battle going on in the Inue mountain range right now, and a lot of people have died." After that, this Xiamoists looked at Hou Fei in fear. He was most worried that Hou Fei would kill him because Hou Fei's aura was so violent and bloodthirsty. "Don't worry, kid, I won't lower myself to kill you." Hou Fei didn't care. Then he looked at Qin Yu. "Let's go to the Inue mountain range." Now Qin Yu changed his appearance and used the Xiamoist secret skill, Dark North. His whole body's aura was hidden. Since he became the Star Pavilion Lord, Qin Yu almost never used this Xiamoist secret skill again. It's just that, when Heavenly Flames fiend, Qin Yu had already leaked his aura. The three brothers turned into three streams of light and rushed towards the Inue mountain range. Before they reached the Inue mountain range, they could feel the thick smell of blood from afar. There are a lot of loose devils dead. Qin Yu felt his heart palpitate with just a sweep of his spiritual sense. The whole Inue mountain range was dyed red with blood. Severed limbs were scattered everywhere. At the same time, there were two people crazily fighting in the sky. One of them was the number one Xiamoist, Wu Kongxue. From the situation on the field, Wu Kongxue was actually at a disadvantage. Even more powerful than Wu Kongxue. Who is it? Qin Yu exclaimed. The loose devils were completely at a disadvantage. A lean man was fighting Wu Kongxue, and a tall thin man was fighting Wu Hei to a draw. There were also two men. Those two men were completely at a disadvantage against Dame Lian Yu, Fire Devil and the others. Only with the help of other loose devils, the loose devils were barely able to hold on. Speed. Amazing speed. Wu Kongxue's cold sweat seeped out from his forehead. He didn't think that an inconspicuous man who came out of nowhere could beat him. The difference in speed between the two was too big. This mysterious man's speed far surpassed Wu Kongxue's. His offense was not inferior to Wu Kongxue's at all. Thus, Wu Kongxue was completely at a disadvantage. If it were not for the fact that the blood clouds covered the surroundings and allowed him to discover the enemy's tracks one step ahead of time, he would have been killed long ago. Rip. A piece of flesh was forcibly torn from Wu Kongxue's body. Currently, Wu Kongxue's whole body was covered in blood. There were very few intact parts of his body. Wu Kongxue, who practiced the blood devil path, was usually covered in the blood of his enemies, but now he was covered in his own blood. Ha ha. Wu Kongxue, your power is not bad. It would indeed take a lot of effort to kill you. Today I'm in a good mood, so I'll spare your life for the time being. I'll leave that heaven-sundering diagram with you for the time being. Next time, I'll come for it. Kong Chao, Wu Shan, Xing Shou, let's go. Following a loud laugh, these four mysterious men floated away. Wu Kongxue's whole body was covered in blood. He cut an extremely sorry figure, but his eyes were still fiercely staring at Yu Liang, who was leaving in the distance. Wu Kongxue. Dame Lian Yu flew over. Now she was also seriously injured. She said miserably, I feel that the enemy only came to tease me. If that man who fought with me just now really wanted to kill me, I reckon I would have really died. Her opponent was Xing Shou. Xing Shou's power was close to Wu Hei's, so it would not be difficult for him to kill Dame Lian Yu. No matter why the enemy did this, from today on, we must not separate. Wu Kongxue said hatefully. Everyone nodded. Everyone present had suffered a great loss. In the distance of the Inue mountain range, there were several tens of thousands of Xiationists observing the fight. Among them were Qin Yu and his two brothers. What a formidable 4 people! Qin Yu exclaimed in his mind. That leader was able to suppress Wu Kongxue. The man who fought with Wu Hei was almost as powerful as Wu Hei. As for the other 2 men, they were also close to Wu Hei in power. They were far stronger than Fire Devil and Dame Lian Yu. In a fight between such experts, even though there were a large number of loose devils helping on the side, the effect was not obvious. Qin Yu looked at the transmitter in his hand. His eyes brightened. Fei, Xiao Hei, the real show is about to start. Follow me to Mount Qingshu. Qin Yu's voice contained excitement. What's the matter? Ho Fei and Kuro were puzzled. Qin Yu handed the transmitter to them. Ho Fei and Kuro scanned it with their holy senses. Little brother Qin Yu, do you want to see how the 10 development illusionary formation of the Qingshu Temple's holy land was broken? Then hurry to Mount Qingshu within 2 hours. If you're late, you won't be able to see the 10 development illusionary formation of Mount Qingshu anymore. This was the message Zong Ju sent to Qin Yu. 2 hours. Time was very tight. Times, Ming Shan, the immortal emissary, will descend to the mortal world in a few days. Maybe he'll descend today. Arrange the surroundings of Heavenly Palace a bit more. Also, make the layout of Mount Qingshu more beautiful. Reverend Ming Liang urged. Reverend Ming Shan immediately said with a smile, Don't worry, senior brother. Many loose immortals are working hard to make Mount Qingshu more beautiful. I believe the immortal emissary will be satisfied. Reverend Ming Liang nodded with a faint smile. The immortal emissary was the emissary of Emperor Yu of the immortal world. He was also an important figure to Emperor Yu. If he could leave a good impression on such an expert, once he entered the immortal world, he would naturally be able to achieve meteoric success. He could even lead the seniors of the Qingshu Temple to a new position. But at this moment, Uncle, it's not good. Uncle, several tens experts have appeared in the sky. They're flying towards Heavenly Palace. Shan Chu's voice came directly. The 10 development illusionary formation was now under Shan Chu's personal control. He was also the first to discover the arrival of outsiders. Oh! Reverend Ming Liang scanned with his immortal sense. His face immediately changed dramatically. Not good. There are actually 5 12th tribulation loose immortals. More than 50 of them are all 10th tribulation and above. It's the chaotic astral ocean. They must be troops from the chaotic astral ocean. At this moment, Reverend Ming Liang could no longer keep calm. On one side, Reverend Ming Shan was also scared silly. There were actually 5 12th tribulation loose immortals. There were more than 50 10th tribulation loose immortals. How terrifying was this power! It should be known that among the loose immortals, only Reverend Ming Liang had a 12th tribulation. Shan Chu, I'll control the 10 development illusionary formation. You go to the 2nd floor of Heavenly Palace and stay with the other loose immortals. Quickly go. Reverend Ming Liang directly said through his holy sense. His holy sense had discovered so many experts, but he simply had not discovered the most terrifying Zong Ju. Reverend Ming Liang understood that even if Zong Ju came, he would not necessarily be able to discover him. Therefore, Reverend Ming Liang still tried to say in a clear voice, The experts of the chaotic astral ocean have come to my Mount Qingshu. I wonder if the senior of the Devil Pang Island School has come? Ha ha. Ming Liang, I've troubled you to remember. I've come. That indifferent yet absolutely overbearing voice resounded through the world. Hearing Zong Ju's voice, Reverend Ming Liang's entire face turned pale. The number 1 expert of the chaotic astral ocean, the invincible existence, Zong Ju actually came. Could the 10 development illusionary formation still withstand him? Chapter 261. As the saying goes, what you fear will come true. The two people that Reverend Ming Liang feared the most in his heart were Zong Ju and Fong Tian. He had once hoped that Zong Ju was not among this group of people from the chaotic astral ocean, but reality had shattered his unrealistic fantasy. More than 50 super experts were floating outside the 10 development illusionary formation, and inside the 10 development illusionary formation were a large number of loose immortal experts. But with only 50 people, they completely suppressed the people inside the 10 development illusionary formation in terms of momentum. Dressed in a dark cyan robe, Zong Ju stands outside the 10 development illusionary formation like a monarch, looking down at the loose immortals inside the formation. Although the 10 development illusionary formation is a powerful formation, it cannot block the demon sense of a first-grade expert like Zong Ju. Ming Liang, do you really want me to make a move? Zong Ju's voice reverberated throughout the forest. Do you really want to make a move? Of course not. Reverend Ming Liang felt bitter in his heart, but no matter what, he could not lose the heaven-sundering diagram. The immortal realm emissary would descend in a day or two. If the heaven-sundering diagram was taken away by the enemy at the last moment, he believed that the immortal realm emissary would be very angry, and the consequences— Brother Zong, don't waste time with them. Isn't it just a 10 development illusionary formation, with more than 50 of us attacking together? I don't believe that we can't break it. Floating Cloud Island's Master Fu Yunzi smiled indifferently. Although he was also a loose immortal, he had nothing to do with the Tenglong continent. In terms of formation skills, the number one person in the chaotic astral ocean was Fu Yunzi. Although the 10 development illusionary formation has a defensive function, its most powerful aspect is still its illusions. As long as we don't enter the formation and only attack from afar, we won't be affected by the environment. If the person controlling the formation forcibly withstands our attacks, it's very possible that the 10 development illusionary formation's formation base will be destroyed. Fu Yunzi said confidently. Zong Ju smiled and nodded. Then I'll have to trouble Fu Yunzi to temporarily command everyone. Zong Ju was certain that he could break the 10 development illusionary formation, but if he really wanted to break it, there were only two ways. One was to painstakingly destroy the formation base one by one. The second way was to use his own secret weapon, using his strongest attack to brazenly destroy the formation. Zong Ju did not want to use this secret weapon unless it was a critical moment. As for the first way, it was really too troublesome. Zong Ju was too lazy to do it. I'll let my men do it first. At this moment, Senior Zong. Qin Yu's voice rang out and 3 streams of light shot over from the horizon. The loose cultivators around Zong Ju did not stop them. Firstly, it was because the newcomers addressed him as Senior Zong. Secondly, with Zong Ju's strength, would he be afraid of anyone attacking him? The flowing light stopped in front of Zong Ju. It was Qin Yu, Ho Fei, and Kuro. Senior Zong, it seems like I'm not too late. Let me introduce you. This is my second brother, Ho Fei. This is my third brother, Kuro. Qin Yu appeared to be very relaxed. During the days in Devilpung Island, Zong Ju treated Qin Yu very well. When Zong Ju swept his gaze over Ho Fei and Hei Yu, his eyes couldn't help but light up. Fiery-eyed water ape? Zong Ju was very surprised to see Ho Fei. Senior Zong, you know about Fei's true body? Qin Yu was very surprised. According to what he knew, there was only one fiery-eyed water ape in the entire mortal world. Countless experts knew nothing about Ho Fei's true body. Who would have thought that Zong Ju would be able to recognize it so easily? Zong Ju smiled and glanced at Kuro. Ho Fei, right? Zong Ju looked at Ho Fei with a much friendlier gaze. Ho Fei greets Senior Zong. Although Ho Fei was tyrannical, he was also very smart. Qin Yu also smiled and said, Senior Zong, didn't you ask about Uncle Lan? Fei is Uncle Lan's personal disciple. Oh. Zong Ju was very surprised and looked at Ho Fei with a much friendlier gaze. I know some details about your second brother. But as for your third brother, to be honest, I really can't recognize him. However, it's not strange that I can't recognize him. There are too many types of divine beasts in the world. There are even some that suddenly mutated divine beasts. Zhongju smiled and suddenly glanced at Fu Yunzi. Zhongju immediately said, "Let's not talk about it. Now we have to start breaking the formation." Qin Yu, Hou Fei and Kuro also looked at Fu Yunzi and the others. Fu Yunzi had already started to gather more than 50 super loose cultivators to attack. "Everyone, we have so many experts working together. The power is extremely great. We don't need to go through any formation. Everyone only needs to focus their attacks on one point. The 10 development illusionary formation's defensive capabilities will definitely not be able to block it. When the time comes, we can easily break the 10 development illusionary formation." Fu Yunzi was very confident. "Everyone, I will attack first. Then everyone will attack the position I am attacking. Everyone understand?" Fu Yunzi looked at everyone. All the loose cultivators nodded. The super experts of the chaotic astral ocean outside the 10 development illusionary formation were very confident. However, the countless loose cultivators inside the 10 development illusionary formation were very uneasy, especially Reverend Ming Liang, who was in charge of the formation. At this moment, he was like an ant on a hot pan. However, no matter what, Reverend Ming Liang could only hold on. The 10 development illusionary formation was controlled by different people. Naturally, its power was also different. Reverend Ming Liang controlled the formation. The formation's power was naturally much more powerful than when Shan Chu controlled it. Show! It was as if space had been torn apart. More than 50 super experts. Among them, there were 5 12th tribulation experts. There were also many divine beasts. The power of so many experts working together was even stronger than Zhongju's. Moreover, the power of these 50 people were all gathered at one point. At the moment of impact, that space collapsed and the 10 development illusionary formation shook. However, the power of the 50 super experts was too strong. Even though a space crack had appeared, it still shook the space. A part of the power that was gathered at one point was absorbed by the space crack. The other part continued to shoot inside. Reverend Ming Liang's face was solemn. His body was dazzling, like the sun in the 10 development illusionary formation. The opponent's power is too strong. The 10 development illusionary formation's strongest point is the illusion, not the absolute defense. Even if I control the formation, I am unable to completely resist such a strong attack. I can't block it, I can only channel it. The 10 development illusionary formation was like a sea of clouds. Only 50% of the power of the attack was removed. The remaining 50% passed through the formation and entered the 10 development illusionary formation. A dazzling brilliance shone in the 10 development illusionary formation. The sound of the explosion was even more ear-piercing. In just one attack, the number of loose immortals killed or injured reached several hundred. First, it was because the opponent's attack was too strong. Most importantly, the loose immortals inside the 10 development illusionary formation were too crowded. Fellow loose immortals, first enter the heavenly palace to hide for a moment. The loose immortals left here must be at least 8th tribulation. Reverend Ming Liang said clearly. Immediately, a large group of loose immortals rushed into the heavenly palace. Reverend Ming Liang raised his head and looked at the 5010th tribulation and above experts outside the 10 development illusionary formation. His heart felt a heavy pressure. Everyone, the second joint attack. Fu Yunzi said clearly. More than 50 rays of light once again shot over. This time, the attacks of the chaotic astral ocean's experts did not completely converge at one point. There was only some distance between them. However, even though they did not converge, the effect was even better. Because this time there was no space crack, the power almost simultaneously exploded in a small square area. Not good. Reverend Ming Liang clearly felt that the 10 development illusionary formation's endurance reached its peak in an instant. Immediately, Reverend Ming Liang removed part of the power and could only let these attacks explode into the 10 development illusionary formation. Soil splashed. Inside the 10 development illusionary formation, outside the heavenly palace, there were only a few formidable loose immortals. Because these loose immortals were relatively far away from each other, they were still able to avoid the attacks. Soil exploded and gravel flew everywhere. One by one, the loose immortals fled everywhere in panic. Ha ha! Suddenly, a loud laugh resounded through heaven and earth. At the same time, a golden figure shot over from afar. At the same time, there were several tens of figures behind him. Zhongju, your speed is really fast. Hearing these words, Reverend Ming Liang's face became even paler. In this mortal world, there was only one other invincible existence who dared to directly call Zhongju by his name. The Dragon Clan's leader, Fong Tian. But your speed is fast. Even now, you still haven't broken this 10 development illusionary formation. Since you haven't broken it, then let me make a move. As the golden figure spoke, his entire body swayed and turned into a huge golden dragon. This golden dragon's length reached a frightening 1,000 meters. Every golden dragon scale on its body made people feel a terrifying pressure. That huge body naturally emitted an aura that made people submit to it. Those pair of dragon eyes were filled with arrogance that overlooked the world. Divine Dragon Tail Whip. With just a tail whip, it was as if heaven and earth had collapsed. Bang! The entire 10 development illusionary formation instantly trembled. The moment the dragon tail slapped the formation, Reverend Ming Liang, who was in charge of the formation, felt a sweet taste in his throat and spat out a mouthful of blood. His face became somewhat pale. This was the deathly pale color of a serious injury due to blood loss. Ha ha, Fong Tian, you actually didn't break it in one strike. Let me. Zhongju laughed loudly. At the same time, Zhongju's entire body turned into a golden light phantom that was more than 10 meters long. At the same time, an extremely resounding and crazy cry resounded through heaven and earth. With just the sound, the entire space shook like the surface of water. Then, the golden light rushed towards the 10 development illusionary formation. With just a dash. Pooh! A crisp sound rang out. The golden phantom unexpectedly arrived within the 10 development illusionary formation. Exceeding the limit of speed, it brought about an extremely terrifying attack power. Haha, Fong Tian, I've already broken this formation. Looks like you're still inferior to me. Zhongju's loud laughter rang out. That golden phantom once again changed back into Zhongju's appearance. Bang! The golden dragon once again swung its body and ruthlessly whipped the already damaged 10 development illusionary formation. The 10 development illusionary formation completely shattered like glass. One by one, the formation bases exploded one after another and were completely destroyed. The golden dragon disappeared, and Fong Tian's figure appeared. You keep bragging, Fong Tian said with a smile. Even though this Ming Liang's strength is ordinary, he was controlling the 10 development illusionary formation. If I hadn't seriously injured him with my previous strike, do you think you would have been able to break the formation so easily? You're just taking advantage of someone's perilous state. Zhongju did not care in the slightest. Just say it. In short, this formation was broken by me. At the moment, Reverend Ming Liang's face was deathly pale. He looked at Fong Tian and Zhongju in front of him. Fong Tian, Zhongju, you actually disregarded your status and joined forces to break my Qingshu Temple's 10 development illusionary formation. Reverend Ming Liang's heart was filled with grief and indignation. The two invincible existences in front of him, he would not be able to fight against any one of them. But these two freaks actually joined forces to attack him. How could this not cause him to feel grief and indignation? Moreover, the 10 development illusionary formation was the Qingshu Temple's most important formation. Losing this formation would be an unprecedented blow to the Qingshu Temple. Zhongju's face turned cold. He looked at Ming Liang with an ice-cold gaze. Is my name something you can directly call? Fong Tian's face also turned cold. Don't look at how Zhongju and Fong Tian were joking around. The two of them were all smiles and did not even care if they called each other by their names. But as soon as someone else spoke, their faces turned cold. Reverend Ming Liang? In Feng Tian and Zhong Ju's eyes, they could kill him with one hand. Even though just now he relied on the formation, Feng Tian only needed to use a single move of the divine dragon tail to seriously injure him. If he did not rely on the 10 development illusionary formation, he would not even be able to take a single move from Feng Tian. Super divine beasts not only have extremely revered statuses, they are also the strongest among experts of the same level. Senior Zhong, Reverend Ming Liang definitely knows the location of this heaven-sundering diagram. Why don't you ask? Qin Yu said with a smile. At the same time, Qin Yu, Ho Fei, and Kuro also flew over. They flew directly behind Zhong Ju. When Feng Tian saw Qin Yu and his two brothers, his gaze focused on Ho Fei. Fiery-eyed water ape? Feng Tian appeared very surprised. At the same time, he looked at Zhong Ju. Zhong Ju laughed. Don't be surprised. This is Qin Yu. Presumably, with your intelligence, you already know. This Ho Fei is Senior Lan's disciple. These three are his brothers. The Stella Tower is indeed mysterious. That Senior Lan was actually able to accept a fiery-eyed water ape as his disciple. Unbelievable, really unbelievable. Feng Tian thought to himself. Zhong Ju suddenly said, Feng Tian, your dragon clan already has a heaven-sundering diagram, right? This heaven-sundering diagram belongs to me. Saying this, Zhong Ju grabbed at Reverend Ming Liang. What are you talking about? Our dragon clan also has a share in breaking the 10 development illusionary formation. Moreover, isn't it better to have one more heaven-sundering diagram? I'm not that generous. Saying this, Feng Tian also grabbed at Reverend Ming Liang. Reverend Ming Liang's face instantly turned red. Show! Like a blood-red ray of light, Reverend Ming Liang instantly reached a height of several hundred meters. The heaven-sundering diagram belongs to us loose immortals. No matter what, you can forget about getting it. Even if I die. Reverend Ming Liang's eyes flashed with a trace of ruthlessness. Feng Tian and Zhong Ju were startled. Soon after, they looked at each other and burst into laughter. Haha, funny, funny. You still want to die in front of us. If we don't let you die, how can you die? Feng Tian's voice resounded between heaven and earth. Feng Tian and Zhong Ju disappeared almost at the same time. Zhong Ju had already grabbed Reverend Ming Liang's neck. He looked at Feng Tian with a smile. Feng Tian, in terms of speed, you're still inferior to me. Looks like this heaven-sundering diagram belongs to me. Chapter 262. Golden-winged Pang. Among the few super beasts in terms of speed, it is one of the fastest. Only one or two flying-type super beasts can compete with it in terms of speed. As for the walking-type and the scale-type super beasts, they are far inferior to the golden-winged Pang in terms of speed. Feng Tian's mind is spinning. Now that Reverend Ming Liang is in Zhong Ju's hands, he has no confidence in snatching him. He himself has no confidence in Zhong Ju, and although the dragon race has many experts, the chaotic astral ocean has even more experts. Haha. Zhong Ju, in terms of speed, you are still far superior to me. Feng Tian laughs loudly, as if he doesn't care. However, today, I also contributed to breaking the 10 development illusionary formation. If you take all the benefits, how can my dragon race's disciples be convinced? Zhong Ju is too lazy to say more. What do you want to say? Wanting Reverend Ming Liang is absolutely impossible. This heaven-sundering diagram is mine. Zhong Ju adds, his words contain an absolute domineering aura. Obviously there is no room for discussion. Suddenly, Hu Yi, Lian Xiao, Fu Yunzi and his two brothers, Shi Bian and Yi Zong. One by one, the chaotic astral ocean experts walk behind Zhong Ju, coldly looking at the dragon race's side. In terms of experts, although the dragon race is strong, in front of the chaotic astral ocean, there is still a big gap. The attitude of the chaotic astral ocean experts also explains everything. Reverend Ming Liang, who knows the location of the heaven-sundering diagram, we must take him. Big brother, It seems like the fight is about to start. Ho Fei's eyes radiate light, he seems very excited. Qin Yu looks suspiciously at Kuro. Xiaohei, since you saw Zhongju, you seem to be a bit absent-minded, always looking at Zhongju. What is going on? I don't know. Kuro is also confused. Only after seeing Zhongju, I feel that he is a bit familiar. Perhaps it's because we are both bird-type divine beasts. In the end, Hei Yu also casually found an excuse. Qin Yu nods and doesn't ask anymore. At this moment, facing Zhongju's strength, Feng Tian doesn't care and smiles. Zhongju, since this Reverend Ming Liang is captured by you, I naturally won't snatch him. I just want to say something. Hearing that Feng Tian was not going to snatch it, Zhongju nodded and said, What's the matter? Speak. Feng Tian smiled and said, This Reverend Ming Liang definitely knows where the heaven-sundering diagram is hidden. Now, he is in your hands. If you interrogate and find out where the heaven-sundering diagram is, go get it yourself, I won't stop you. But, if you can't get anything out of him, you have to hand Reverend Ming Liang over to me for interrogation. If I manage to get anything out of him, I'll go get the heaven-sundering diagram, and you absolutely cannot stop me. Feng Tian was making a bet. He bet that Zhongju wouldn't be able to get anything out of him. Zhongju, Feng Tian, stop dreaming. Don't even think about finding out the whereabouts of the heaven-sundering diagram from me. Reverend Ming Liang coldly snorts as his body trembles. Suddenly, a surge of energy flowed from Zhongju's palm into Reverend Ming Liang's body. Reverend Ming Liang immediately returned to normal. However, Zhongju coldly said, You want to commit suicide? You still want to commit suicide in my hands? It was simply a dream. If you don't tell me the secret of the heaven-sundering diagram, how can I let you die? Just now, Reverend Ming Liang had wanted to commit suicide, but Zhongju had instantly rendered him immobile. Feng Tian, I agree to what you said. If I can't get anything out of him, I'll hand him over to you. At that time, if you manage to get anything out of him, I naturally won't try to seize the heaven-sundering diagram. Zhongju lightly smiles. Feng Tian nods his head in satisfaction. At that time, I won't try to seize it, but others might. It's better to be careful. Zhongju smiles and says, Of course, this is based on the fact that I can't get anything out of him. It's just Reverend Ming Liang, how can I not be able to get anything out of him? Feng Tian indifferently says, As long as you don't seize it, it's fine. As for others, I don't care about them. Finished speaking, Feng Tian indifferently glances at the surroundings. Whether it's Hu Yi or Fu Yunzi, they all have no choice but to lower their heads in front of Feng Tian. Just now, Feng Tian transformed into a 5-clawed golden dragon's might was still in everyone's mind. No one present dared to oppose Feng Tian. Ming Liang, I'm too lazy to use any tricks. Tell me the whereabouts of the heaven-sundering diagram, and I'll spare your life. Zhongju indifferently says. At this moment, Zhongju simply doesn't want to use any tricks. If you want to kill me, then kill me. Don't even think about getting the heaven-sundering diagram. Reverend Ming Liang sneers. Now that his power has been sealed, Reverend Ming Liang can't even commit suicide. However, Reverend Ming Liang is clear on one thing. If he hands over the heaven-sundering diagram, the immortal realm emissary will descend and he will undoubtedly die. Moreover, he will also implicate his sex elders in the immortal realm, and he will become the sex eternal sinner. If he hands it over, he will die. If he doesn't, he will also die. Moreover, if he hands it over, he will also harm his sex elders. You're really stubborn, Zhongju says with a smile. At the same time, Zhongju's eyes look at Reverend Ming Liang. Bewitching technique. When Reverend Ming Liang saw Zhongju's eyes, he had a feeling of drowsiness. Moreover, he felt that the Zhongju in front of him was so close, so reliable. It was as if he was his closest relative. What's your name? My real name is Yang Shonyan. Master gave me the name, Ming Liang. How many years have you been cultivating? Seeing Zhongju and Reverend Ming Liang asking and answering questions, the surrounding experts of the chaotic astral ocean all have smiles on their faces. The loose immortals in the heavenly palace all have anxious faces, but no one dares to come out. After all, there are two invincible existences outside. Following Zhongju's questioning, the nearby Fong Tian also frowns. He did not expect Zhongju's bewitching technique to be so powerful. Where is the heaven-sundering diagram? Zhongju asks step by step, starting from some unimportant questions, first letting him completely enter the state. Now, he finally asks the most important question. The heaven-sundering diagram is... the heaven-sundering diagram. Reverend Ming Liang seems to have been struck by lightning. His whole body trembles, and his pupils instantly focus. He actually woke up. Reverend Ming Liang coldly looks at Zhongju. What a powerful bewitching technique, I almost fell for it. The smile on Zhongju's face slightly stiffens, and he immediately praises, "Your mind is really firm, but I don't believe that I can't interrogate you." Zhongju's body moves, and in a moment he appears in his original position, as if he never moved. Only now Zhongju has another person in his hands, Reverend Ming Shan. Immediately, the loose immortals are in an uproar. The 10th tribulation and 11th tribulation loose immortals are all gathered together. All the loose immortals in the main hall of the heavenly palace are very cautious. At the same time, there is also a feeling of sympathy for the death of the rabbit. Just now, Zhongju was unexpectedly able to capture Ming Shan so quickly and easily. Ming Liang, I used my demonic sense to search. This person should also be from your Qingshu temple, and an expert second only to you. Zhongju says with a smile. Immediately he repeats the same trick, and his eyes look at Reverend Ming Shan. Reverend Ming Shan's willpower is much weaker than his senior apprentice brother's. In just a moment, he is immersed in it. Tell me, where is the heaven-sundering diagram? Zhongju asks one or two simple questions, then directly asks about the heaven-sundering diagram's location. Reverend Ming Shan is like a machine, listlessly saying, "The heaven-sundering diagram is under senior apprentice brother's care. As for where he put it, apart from him, no one else knows." Hearing Reverend Ming Shan's answer, Zhongju's smile finally disappears. Haha, don't be delusional. You definitely won't be able to get the heaven-sundering diagram. Reverend Ming Liang laughs proudly. At the moment, his face is full of confidence. Even though he is captured, he does not have the slightest consciousness of a prisoner. Instead, he is full of arrogance. Zhongju carefully looks at Reverend Ming Liang, and looks into his eyes. Good. Zhongju throws Reverend Ming Liang to Fong Tian. Fong Tian, he is yours. I want to see what kind of ability you have to interrogate him. Zhongju does not continue the interrogation. Behind Zhongju, Qin Yu, Ho Fei, and Kuro only watch. Big brother, I have a feeling that this Dragon Clan leader seems to be very confident. I think he is very likely to be able to interrogate him. Ho Fei touches his chin, coming to a conclusion. I agree. Kuro says. Qin Yu does not say anything, only looking at Fong Tian with a slight smile. Fong Tian reaches out his hand, and the sealed Reverend Ming Liang falls in front of him. Fong Tian looks at Zhongju with a smile. Zhongju, you have to remember what you just said. If I interrogate him, you cannot snatch it from me. Zhongju, always keep my word. If I say I won't snatch it, then I definitely won't snatch it from you. If you have the ability, then go ahead and interrogate him. Zhongju says coldly. Just be careful. I won't snatch it, but that doesn't mean others won't. Fong Tian smiles faintly, containing absolute confidence. Fong Tian flips his hand, and a golden bead appears in his hand. An enormous aura is emitted from the golden bead. The aura is so grand that it makes everyone's heart tremble involuntarily. Zhongju's eyes light up. Heritage Dragon Bead? Yes. Fong Tian smiles and nods. Heritage Dragon Bead is the most valuable treasure of the Dragon Clan. As for its use, not many people know. Heritage Dragon Bead has many effects. One of them is bewitching. Fong Tian says confidently. The Heritage Dragon Bead in Fong Tian's hand releases a rainbow light. That light is blurred and illusory. Even Qin Yu, who is far away, feels dizzy, not knowing what is going on. Although it is not the main target, it is just a diffuse effect. All of the loose immortals below the 8th tribulation have been hit by it. Not only Qin Yu, even Ho Fei and Xiao He have been hit by it. However, experts such as Zhong Ju, Hu Yi and Lian Xiao are naturally not affected. Reverend Ming Liang is the main target of this Heritage Dragon Bead. Most of the effect is on him. Reverend Ming Liang's eyes also have all kinds of light flowing, exactly the same as the Heritage Dragon Bead. In just an instant, his whole body is under control. The moment Qin Yu is under control, a clear stream flows in his mind. His soul instantly absorbs that clear stream. So powerful. Qin Yu is completely awake. Although he was only under control for a moment and was saved by Lu Xing's tears, Qin Yu is very clear that he was indeed under control. Even his brothers Fei and Xiao He are also under control. Fei, Xiao He. Qin Yu stretches out his hand to pull Ho Fei and Xiao He. Ho Fei and Xiao He still do not react. How can the bewitching technique be broken so easily? What should I do? I have Lu Xing's tears. Fei and Xiao He don't have them either. Qin Yu started to ponder in his heart. The two of them do not dare to face it head-on. They both dodge at the same time. That sword energy directly kills 3 loose immortals. Finally, it pierces through Shan Chu's Yuanying. Shan Chu dies. An inkwash painting floats down. A grim man with a long sword on his back appears beside Shan Chu. He takes the inkwash painting with one hand. Chapter 263. Astonishment. Sluggishness. The loose immortals of the Heavenly Palace, the experts of the chaotic Astral Ocean, the experts of the Dragon Clan, these top experts of the mortal world are all shocked. Not to mention anything else, just the sword energy that was casually released just now was enough to shock everyone. Fong Tian and Zhong Ju's eyes are filled with disbelief. Fong Tian, since when did the mortal world have such an expert? Look at his sword. I have a feeling that it's at least a high-grade or top-grade immortal weapon. Zhong Ju simply cannot believe that the mortal world has an expert capable of threatening him and Fong Tian. Fong Tian is also astonished. Immediately Fong Tian is startled, using his holy sense. Zhong Ju, do you think he's an immortal emissary? Immortal emissary? Zhong Ju's heart is moved. The aura emitted by this mysterious cold man indeed has the aura of an immortal. Moreover, that extremely sharp sword energy even forced Fong Tian and Zhong Ju to dodge. While in shock, Fong Tian naturally received the Inheritance Dragon Pearl. Now using the Inheritance Dragon Pearl has no effect at all. Reverend Ming Liang, who was controlled by the Inheritance Dragon Pearl, also completely awakens. He immediately recalls the scene just now. Not good. Reverend Ming Liang is greatly alarmed. He knows that he was controlled and must have revealed the secret. When Reverend Ming Liang sees the mysterious cold man in the main hall of the Heavenly Palace and the sharp sword energy he naturally emits, Reverend Ming Liang is shocked. At the same time, he is also pleasantly surprised. Junior Ming Liang of the Qingshu Temple greets the immortal emissary. Reverend Ming Liang appears very certain. The loose immortals look at Reverend Ming Liang and immediately say respectfully to the mysterious man, "Greetings to the immortal emissary." The chaotic Astral Ocean side is stunned, the Dragon Clan side is stunned. Fong Tian and Zhong Ju look at each other, not saying anything. Just based on the sword energy just now, Fong Tian and Zhong Ju know that if they were in human form, they would have to use all of their unique skills to have a chance of fighting. If they want to win against this mysterious sword immortal, not only do they have to use their unique skills, they also have to transform into their true bodies. Only Fong Tian and Zhong Ju feel that the mysterious man in front of them is too unfathomable. Even if they transform into their true bodies and use their unique skills at the same time, it is hard to say whether they can win. I'm not the immortal emissary. The grim man glanced at the loose immortals and said coldly. Qin Yu, who was standing behind Zhongju, had a hint of a smile in his eyes. Immortal emissary? It was nothing more than his sword immortal puppet. The sword immortal puppet was personally refined by Uncle Lon. Its entire body was refined from a special material and was extremely tough. That immortal sword was also comparable to a supreme-grade immortal sword. It could be said that the sword immortal puppet's entire body could be considered a top-grade immortal artifact. In a head-on clash, it was impossible to injure the sword immortal puppet. As for the attack, it would require the energy of supreme-grade elemental spirit stones. At this moment, Qin Yu had fused a strand of his spiritual sense into the sword immortal puppet. The words spoken by the sword immortal puppet were all controlled by Qin Yu. Lord Emissary, didn't the seniors of the immortal world say that the emissary is a sword immortal? Although this junior's eyesight isn't that great, this junior can still tell that senior is a sword immortal. Moreover, senior was able to force Feng Tian and Zhongju into a corner with just one sword strike. Junior believes that there is absolutely no such person in the mortal world. Reverend Ming Liang said anxiously. Reverend Ming Liang simply couldn't understand why his Lord Emissary of the immortal world would admit that he was an emissary. I am Sword Immortal Lon Feng. Friends Feng Tian and Zhongju may not be as good as me in human form, but they are in their true bodies. It would be extremely difficult for me to win against these two fellow Taoists. The sword immortal puppet said indifferently. In reality, it was Qin Yu who was speaking. From a certain point of view, the sword immortal puppet could be considered Qin Yu's avatar. Feng Tian and Zhongju's hearts jumped. This mysterious sword immortal was truly too strong. The two of them felt that they wouldn't be able to win against this sword immortal in human form. Only in their true bodies would they have a chance. Feng Tian and Zhongju both had a good impression of this mysterious sword immortal. Since he called them fellow Taoists, Feng Tian and Zhongju naturally didn't want to casually make an enemy out of him. Brother Lon Feng, I am Zhongju. I didn't expect that there would be such an expert in the mortal world. However, I am very curious. According to my conjecture, Brother Lon Feng should be at least a golden immortal. I am very confident in my own strength. If it was only a 12th tribulation sword immortal, I would have the confidence to win. Zhongju smiled. Lon Feng nodded. Yes, I am a first-level golden immortal. I am not far from breaking through to the second level. Zhongju and Feng Tian understood. Oh. Feng Tian smiled. Brother Lon Feng, I am Feng Tian. No wonder Zhongju and I couldn't detect Brother Lon Feng's strength with our demon sense. Sword immortals are the strongest immortals in the immortal world. However, immortals of the same level would still not be able to catch up to me. So Brother Lon Feng is a first-level golden immortal sword immortal. In terms of strength, I estimate that you are on par with me. Zhongju also nodded. Sword immortals are immortals with the strongest attack power. A 12th tribulation super divine beast is a 9th level heavenly immortal super divine beast. There is only a difference of one level between them and a first-level golden immortal sword immortal. Sword immortals have the strongest attack power, but super divine beasts are even stronger. In terms of strength alone, a 9th level heavenly immortal super divine beast should be on par with a first-level golden immortal sword immortal. However, Lon Feng's weapon is too good. The immortal sword on his body is a top-quality immortal sword. He has the advantage in terms of weapon. This is why Feng Tian and Zhongju are somewhat wary of Lon Feng. Golden immortal. All the loose immortals were shocked. Logically speaking, once a 12th tribulation loose immortal comprehends the last layer, they will directly ascend and become a golden immortal in the immortal world. Brother Lon Feng, I have a question. I don't know if Brother Lon Feng can solve it for me. Feng Tian smiled. Please speak. Sword immortal Lon Feng nodded. As far as I know, golden immortals are usually from the immortal world. I don't know why Brother Lan Feng is staying in the mortal world. This really puzzles Feng Tian. Feng Tian was very puzzled. He was really puzzled. Zhong Ju, the experts of the chaotic astral ocean, the experts of the Dragon Clan, and the loose immortals all looked at Lan Feng. They were also puzzled. Why would a golden immortal come to the mortal world? If he is not an immortal emissary, why would he be in the mortal world? Behind Zhong Ju, Qin Yu was carefully pondering this question. Naturally, Sword Immortal Lan Feng also pretended to ponder. After a while, Sword Immortal Lan Feng sighed and looked at Ming Liang. Ming Liang. Lan Feng said. Ming Liang knew that Lan Feng was not an immortal emissary and was disappointed. However, he was still a golden immortal. Lan Feng immediately bowed and said, "Senior, what is the matter?" Ming Liang, just now you deduced that I am an immortal emissary because I was able to force Brother Feng Tian and Brother Zhong Ju to retreat. But I want to tell you, the experts of the mortal world are not as few as you think. Even from what I know, there are 2 or 3 who are stronger than me. Even one of them can defeat me in one move. Feng Tian and Zhong Ju were shocked. All the loose immortals, the experts of the chaotic astral ocean, and the experts of the Dragon Clan were shocked. The shock brought by this sentence was too great. According to what Sword Immortal Lan Feng said, there are even more powerful experts in the mortal world. Feng Tian and Zhong Ju thought that they were invincible, but they were too arrogant. Only Qin Yu was secretly laughing. Don't be fooled by me. I made up some non-existent experts to tease you all. I will also let you know that you can't be too arrogant. When Qin Yu said this sentence, he naturally had a series of plans in his mind. Especially when he heard Reverend Ming Liang say that there is an immortal emissary, Qin Yu's heart was even more determined to carry out the most important plan. At the same time, Qin Yu rejoiced in his heart that he was decisive in using the Sword Immortal puppet. But you can rest assured for now. The experts who have reached the level of Golden Immortal are all in a certain place in the mortal world. That place is very difficult to get out. I was only able to escape by relying on Senior Brother's formation skills and astonishing strength. Lan Feng said with a smile. Feng Tian and Zhong Ju's hearts slightly calmed down. The experts are all in a certain place, and it seems that they are still trapped in that place. But now, the experts that came out, at least there is Lan Feng and Lan Feng's senior brother. Brother Feng Tian, Brother Zhong Ju, I will accept this heaven-sundering diagram for the time being, because this heaven-sundering diagram still has some use for me. Alright, I will take my leave for now. What do you all want to do? Continue. Once Sword Immortal Lan Feng finished speaking, he disappeared into thin air. Feng Tian and Zhong Ju looked at each other and smiled helplessly. What do they want to do? Continue. Can they still continue? Zhong Ju, the mysterious Lan Feng that came out today shows that there is a mysterious place in the mortal world, and there are some extremely powerful experts there. But because of the formation restrictions, it is very difficult for those experts to come out. Feng Tian transmitted. Zhong Ju also nodded and transmitted. It should be so. Feng Tian's heart suddenly moved, and transmitted. Zhong Ju, didn't you say that Senior Lan of the Stellar Pavilion is very powerful? Moreover, the Stellar Pavilion's great heavenly cycle stellar formation is also very powerful, and this Lan Feng said that he has a senior brother, and his senior brother's strength and formation skills are extremely powerful. You say, could his senior brother be the senior Lan you spoke of? After all, both of them have the word Lan in their names. Zhong Ju's heart also shook. It makes sense. Lan Feng said that he relied on senior brother's formation skills and astonishing strength to escape. Astonishing strength. Zhong Ju had personally experienced senior Lan's strength, and it was indeed incomparably astonishing. Zhong Ju believed that if senior Lan wanted to kill him, he would not have the strength to resist. As for formation skills, although Zhong Ju did not see it, but the Stellar Pavilion's defensive formation clearly showed Uncle Lan's formation skills. It is very possible, Zhong Ju replied. Suddenly, Feng Tian and Zhong Ju both looked at Qin Yu. If that Lan Feng is Senior Lan's junior brother, then Qin Yu, Ho Fei and the others should know about this Lan Feng. Seniors, why are you looking at me like that? Qin Yu was puzzled. Could it be that they noticed something, or they guessed the hint in my words just now? Qin Yu deliberately gave the sword immortal puppet the name Lan Feng, and said a lot of things. What formation skills, what astonishing strength, everything was planned. Qin Yu, is that Lan Feng your martial uncle? Zhong Ju inquired. Qin Yu was delighted. Success. Qin Yu had a puzzled look on his face. Martial uncle? I don't know, to be honest. I am not familiar with my own sect. I have only seen my master once, but Uncle Lan and I have been together for a long time. Ho Fei, what about you? Zhong Ju looked at Ho Fei. Ho Fei also shook his head. I don't know, I only know my master is Uncle Lan. As for my master's fellow disciples, I don't know any of them. Zhong Ju and Fong Tian looked at each other, believing in their own judgment even more. How could there be a sect disciple who doesn't know his martial uncle or martial uncle? But Lan Feng just said that too few people came out, and most of them were trapped in that mysterious place. Thinking about it this way, it makes sense. Maybe this Lan Feng also just came out of that mysterious place, so Qin Yu and Ho Fei did not know him. Senior Zhong, why are you asking this? Could it be that Lan Feng is really my martial uncle? Qin Yu asked. Zhong Ju smiled lightly. I am just guessing, you don't need to ask. Fong Tian glanced at the loose immortals, then said to Zhong Ju, Zhong Ju, the heaven-sundering diagram has been taken by Brother Lan Feng, there is no use in staying here. How about we leave first? That makes sense. Zhong Ju nodded. At the same time, Zhong Ju waved his hand and removed the seal on Reverend Ming Liang's body. In Qin Yu's eyes, he was too lazy to kill Reverend Ming Liang. Immediately, Zhong Ju and Fong Tian called for their own people to prepare to leave, but at this moment, the space between heaven and earth suddenly began to vibrate. A violent vibration came from the sky. The vibration of space caused the trees in a radius of several thousand miles to collapse, and the air even turned into a rapid sound wave attack, occasionally accompanied by a sonic boom. In the middle of the sky, a vortex appeared. What a strong vibration of space. Fong Tian was shocked. Even when he and Zhong Ju fought, there would not be such a vibration of space. This vibration of space was a bit too frightening. Reverend Ming Liang's eyes emitted rays of light. Uncle Master, Uncle Master. Qing Su Temple disciple Shan Yen quickly ran to Reverend Ming Liang's side, using his immortal sense to say, Uncle Master, disciple was on the 9th floor of Heavenly Palace. I just received news from the Immortal Realm that the Immortal Realm emissary is about to descend. Uncle Master, please welcome him. Reverend Ming Liang was immediately excited. Just now, he was suppressed, his life and death controlled by Zhong Ju and Fong Tian. He was extremely sullen. Now that the Immortal Realm emissary has finally arrived, he and his loose immortals can finally straighten their backs, no longer having to fear the Dragon Clan and the chaotic Astral Ocean. Everyone, follow me to welcome the Immortal Realm emissary. Reverend Ming Liang's clear voice resounded throughout Heavenly Palace. Immediately, the 6th Tribulation loose immortals in Heavenly Palace flew out one by one, pleasantly surprised. The Immortal Realm emissary, he must be a powerful expert. With the support of the Immortal Realm emissary, they did not need to be too cowardly. Immediately, several thousand 6th Tribulation loose immortals flew in 2 orderly rows in the sky at the same time, quietly waiting for the Immortal Realm emissary to descend. Hearing Reverend Ming Liang's words, Fong Tian and Zhong Ju's faces changed. Immortal Realm emissary? They did not expect that among the emissaries of the Immortal Realm, the Immortal Realm emissary would be the first to descend. Chapter 264. The whirlpool in the sky continued to spin. At the same time, the surrounding area would sometimes turn blue, sometimes purple, sometimes black, sometimes white. The area around the whirlpool was filled with all kinds of colors. At the same time, the entire space was constantly vibrating. The strength of the spatial tremors simply reached a horrifying degree. Led by Reverend Ming Liang, several thousand loose immortals of the sixth tribulation and above divided into 2 rows and bowed to welcome them. However, Fong Tian and Zhong Ju's expressions didn't look too good. They just stared coldly at the passage in the sky. As the tremors became stronger and stronger, a low and deep sound reverberated through the heavens and the earth. The spinning region began to shatter, and a white tunnel appeared. A stream of light shot out from the white passage at top speed, so fast that it created sparks. After a short while, the flowing light slowed down and turned into a human figure. Phew, the spatial passageway is truly dangerous. The figure let out a long sigh of relief as he looked down. Junior Ming Liang of the Qingshu Temple greets the Immortal Realm emissary. Reverend Ming Liang is the first to speak. The thick immortal aura, the fact that he had traveled through space, and the news from the 9th floor of Heavenly Palace all pointed to the fact that this person was an emissary from the Immortal Realm. So you are Ming Liang. This Immortal Realm emissary was very handsome. He had a lock of long hair at his temples and carried an immortal sword on his back. Qin Yu, who was watching all this from below, was very confused. Why didn't the immortal keep the immortal sword in his body, but carry it on his back? Qin Yu had no idea that this was the difference between a sword immortal and an ordinary immortal. Ordinary immortals had flying swords, and so did sword immortals. Generally, immortals kept their flying swords in their bodies, but sword immortals carried them on their backs. Moreover, sword immortals not only had immortal swords, they also had sword nascent souls, equivalent to the yuanying of an ordinary immortal. This junior is indeed Ming Liang. Reverend Ming Liang said respectfully. The Immortal Realm emissary nods and smiles. I am Sword Immortal Hua Yen. You can address me as Senior Hua Yen. When you obtained the Heaven Sundering diagram, His Majesty Emperor Yu was very happy. He even asked me to reward you heavily. Oh right, where's the Heaven Sundering diagram? You can leave it to me. Reverend Ming Liang bitterly smiles. Senior Hua Yen, half a day ago, this Heaven Sundering diagram was still in my hands. After hearing this sentence, Sword Immortal Hua Yan's face slightly changed, but he did not interrupt. It's just that not long ago, the chaotic Astral Ocean Zhong Ju and the Dragon Clan's patriarch Fong Tian joined forces to break my Qingshu Temple's 10 development illusionary formation. Afterwards, a mysterious sword Immortal Lan Feng appeared and directly took away the Heaven Sundering diagram. Ming Liang is too weak and has no power to resist at all. He can only be manipulated by them. When Ming Liang said that he was at their mercy, his heart was filled with bitterness. As the number 1 loose immortal, Reverend Ming Liang's position could not be said to be disrespected. However, in the face of 2 invincible existences, Ming Liang did not have the slightest ability to resist. Sword Immortal Lan Feng? Hua Yen frowned slightly. At the same time, his immortal sense swept downwards. Oh, I can't blame you for this. The 5-clawed golden dragon and the golden-winged roc are both super-mythological beasts. Even if they are also 12th tribulations, their strength is far stronger than yours. As for Sword Immortal Lan Feng, where is he? When Hua Yen saw Zhong Ju and Fong Tian, he was only slightly surprised and didn't pay them much attention. Sword Immortal Lan Feng just took the Heaven Sundering diagram and just left. Reverend Ming Liang said respectfully. He can take the Heaven Sundering diagram in front of 2 super-mythological beasts? Hua Yen was a little skeptical. Reverend Ming Liang replied, Senior Hua Yen, that Sword Immortal Lan Feng is not an ordinary expert. He is already a level 1 golden immortal. With his strength, even Zhong Ju and Fong Tian, the 2 great experts, are not certain of victory. Reverend Ming Liang clearly remembered the conversation between Qin Yu's sword immortal puppet and Fong Tian and Zhong Ju. Impossible. Hua Yan's face changed. A golden immortal definitely cannot be in the mortal realm. Hua Yan's face was very ugly. Reverend Ming Liang continued. However, his strength is indeed ridiculously strong. Moreover, Fong Tian and Zhong Ju, the 2 great experts, also agreed. Moreover, that sword Immortal Lan Feng also said that he has a martial brother. Hua Yan did not speak, only pondering. In reality, Hua Yan was only a level 1 golden immortal. Breaking the barrier between the two realms to form a temporary passageway was almost impossible. However, Emperor Yu invited his friends to form a passageway. This passageway could at most allow a level 1 golden immortal to pass through. Hua Yan, one of Emperor Yu's elite disciples, was sent down. Although Hua Yan's strength in the immortal realm was weak, he was still a key person to be nurtured. For example, if Feng Tian ascended to the demon realm, even if his strength was only a level 1 demon king, he would still be a key person to be nurtured by the Dragon Clan. His status would even be comparable to that of an ordinary Xian immortal. Although Hua Yan's strength was not strong, he was still a person with an extremely high status. That is a sword immortal, moreover a level 1 golden immortal. Could it be someone from another power in the immortal realm, or someone from Eternal Green Emperor Qing? Hua Yan guessed in his heart. There were many immortal emperor-level experts in the immortal realm. There were even a few level 8 mystic immortals and level 9 mystic immortals. That year, Immortal Emperor Ni Yang belonged to the highest level of immortal emperors. Although Emperor Yu was one of the top few immortal emperors in the immortal realm, there were still a few immortal emperors who could catch up to Emperor Yu. After guessing for a moment, Hua Yan did not continue to think about it. Ming Liang, this matter cannot be blamed on you. However, you have worked hard for Emperor Yu, everyone has seen it. I will bestow this top-grade immortal sword, Star, to you. This top-grade immortal sword, Star, is the sword of the immortal realm senior who created the Star technique. It should be the most suitable for you. A gorgeous immortal sword floated out from Hua Yan's hand. At the same time, Hua Yan removed the blood contract. Storing a top-grade immortal sword requires a top-grade immortal-grade interspatial ring. A top-grade immortal-grade interspatial ring is really too precious. Even Emperor Yu only had one. Hua Yan himself only had a high-grade immortal-grade interspatial ring. Therefore, he could only first drip blood to bind the immortal sword. Storage-type interspatial rings are the rarest. Even a high-grade immortal-grade interspatial ring is comparable to an average top-grade immortal sword. Ming Liang's entire body trembled. Top-grade immortal sword. His first move was a top-grade immortal sword. Junior thanks Emperor Yu for the reward. Junior thanks Senior Hua Yan. Reverend Ming Liang received the top-grade immortal sword with trembling hands. Below, Qin Yu also sucked in a breath of cold air. Such extravagance. His first move is a top-grade immortal sword. Qin Yu had risked his life in the Qing Yu Immortal Mansion to finally obtain a middle-grade immortal equipment. Of course, Qin Yu's Lord of Black Flame Ring was a high-grade immortal equipment. Moreover, because of its two great domains and its rare storage type, its value was even higher than that of a top-grade immortal equipment. Zhong Ju and Feng Tian were also shocked. Top-grade immortal equipment? In the mortal realm, there was no way to create a treasure like a top-grade immortal equipment. The Dragon Clan Patriarch's own weapon was only a middle-grade immortal equipment, demon equipment. Unless he used the Dragon Clan's most precious treasure, the Dragon Pearl, it could barely compare to a top-grade immortal equipment. However, using the Dragon Pearl in battle, it would only be used in a life-and-death situation. Zhong Ju's original weapon was also a middle-grade immortal equipment. Fortunately, he obtained a treasure from Senior Lan. This treasure was also Zhong Ju's final trump card. Zhong Ju, this immortal realm emissary, came from the immortal realm. According to their words, they should belong to Emperor Yu of the immortal realm. Experts like Emperor Yu do not care about top-grade immortal equipment. Although this immortal realm emissary's personal strength is not too strong, he must have a lot of treasures. Feng Tian sighed. Hua Yan's personal strength was only a level 1 golden immortal. However, the amount of treasures on Hua Yan's body was simply shocking. Even in the immortal realm, a normal Xian immortal expert's treasures could not compare to Hua Yan's. This was because Emperor Yu of the immortal realm had also spent a lot on Hua Yan. Zhong Ju's eyes flashed with golden light. Feng Tian, look at that Sword Immortal's battle armor. Feng Tian also looked carefully. Immediately, Feng Tian's eyes widened. High-grade immortal equipment? And it's even a top-grade immortal equipment? The Immortal Realm emissary had a lot of treasures. Not only was his offensive weapon good, he also had the best battle armor on his body. Defensive immortal equipment were harder to create than offensive immortal equipment. Storage-type immortal equipment were even harder to create than defensive immortal equipment. Some immortal equipment with special effects were even rarer. For example, the Lord of Black Flame's ring. It was a storage-type high-grade immortal equipment, which was already very impressive. However, it also contained 2 great domains, which made it even more valuable. Senior Hua Yan, this is my junior apprentice brother Ming Shan. This is Shui Yu Yang. This is Reverend Qi Yang. This is Reverend Lon Bing. They are all 11th Tribulation loose immortals. At this moment, Reverend Ming Liang was reporting some facts to Sword Immortal Hua Yan. Hua Yan looked at the 4 11th Tribulation loose immortals in front of him. Although to him, 11th Tribulation loose immortals were nothing, he was the only one who had descended to the immortal realm. He was also in need of people. Very good. Everyone's loyalty to Emperor Yu will naturally be rewarded. Here are 4 high-grade immortal swords for you. Hua Yan took out 4 high-grade immortal swords from thin air. These 4 immortal swords were directly taken out by Hua Yan from his spatial ring. Reverend Ming Shan, Shui Yu Yang, Reverend Qi Yang and Reverend Lon Bing were all shocked. High-grade immortal equipment? However, in the end, the 4 of them suppressed their excitement and each of them trembled as they received the immortal swords. Everyone, His Majesty Emperor Yu will definitely not be stingy with his rewards. I, Hua Yan, will say it clearly. If anyone is able to obtain the Heaven-Sundering diagram and hand it over to me, I will represent His Majesty Emperor Yu and bestow upon him a set of top-grade immortal equipment battle armor. Hua Yan's clear voice resounded through the world. Top-grade immortal equipment battle armor? Truly rich and overbearing. Zhong Ju frowned. Feng Tian also smiled bitterly. No matter how powerful they were only people of the mortal realm. How could they compare to Hua Yan? Behind Hua Yan was the immortal realm's Emperor Yu. 8 or 10 pieces of top-grade immortal equipment, to an expert of Emperor Yu's level, was simply nothing. A person's strength, of course, was important. However, weapons were also important. For example, Hua Yan. He had a top-grade immortal sword, a top-grade immortal equipment battle armor, various immortal pills and some powerful seals and talismans. Just by relying on external factors, his battle strength would increase by several times. He was able to take out a top-grade immortal equipment battle armor as a reward. He definitely has won himself. Feng Tian smiled bitterly. Zhong Ju, a level 1 golden immortal, has a top-grade immortal sword for attack and a top-grade immortal equipment battle armor for defense. Let's not talk about other things for now. Do you have the confidence to deal with him? Zhong Ju was silent for a moment. If I had the same weapon as him and the same defensive immortal equipment, I would be able to compete with him. Hearing Zhong Ju's words, Feng Tian also felt helpless. In terms of personal strength, they were not weaker than the opponent. However, the opponent's equipment was too good. Hua Yan's gaze turned towards Feng Tian and Zhong Ju. His figure flashed and arrived in front of the two. Feng Tian? Zhong Ju? Hua Yan smiled. Feng Tian and Zhong Ju nodded. Feng Tian spoke. What matter does Sword Immortal Hua Yan have to discuss? Super Divine Beast? Others would probably be afraid of offending him. However, who was Hua Yan? He was the focus of Emperor Yu's forces. This time, he was sent to do such an important matter. One could imagine how much Emperor Yu valued this Sword Immortal Hua Yan. What matter? Qing Su Temple is on the side of the immortal path. Why did you break the 10 development illusionary formation? The smile on Hua Yan's face disappeared and his expression became cold. Feng Tian and Zhong Ju's eyes slightly narrowed, emitting a cold light. While standing behind Fong Tian, Qin Yu had been quietly watching the matter unfold. Moreover, from time to time, he would communicate with his two brothers using his spiritual sense. After all, no matter what happened, Fong Tian and Zhong Ju would be there to support them. The three brothers were not worried at all. Ho Fei's voice transmitted through his spiritual sense. Big brother, that Hua Yan is really rich. Offensive immortal equipment, defensive immortal equipment, and even a spatial ring. He is simply a moving treasure trove. From what I see, he definitely has all kinds of top-grade immortal pills from the immortal realm. Qin Yu smiled. At this moment, Hua Yan had already arrived in front of Zhong Ju and Fong Tian and began to ask questions. Big brother, I have a feeling that Hua Yan is about to make his move. Kurowa's deep voice resounded in Qin Yu and Ho Fei's minds. Qin Yu agreed and transmitted. That Hua Yan already knows Fong Tian and Zhong Ju's identities. He knows that the two of them are invincible existences in the mortal realm. He has just arrived in the mortal realm and probably wants to establish his power. Naturally, the best way to establish his power is to defeat Fong Tian and Zhong Ju. To establish his power, he must find the strongest. And the matter was indeed within the expectations of Qin Yu and his two brothers. What does Sword Immortal Hua Yan's words mean? Why do we need you to care about the conflicts between the people of the mortal realm? I don't like the Qing Su Temple, so what if I broke their 10 development illusionary formation? Could it be that Sword Immortal Hua Yan wants to use us to establish his power? Zhong Ju coldly said. At this moment, Zhong Ju did not show any signs of weakness. It's just that Sword Immortal Hua Yan. People must know their own limits. There is nothing wrong with establishing your power. Unfortunately, I'm afraid you have chosen the wrong target. Zhong Ju's eyes instantly turned golden, his aura became even more violent and fierce. The corners of his mouth even had a trace of arrogance and disdain. Chapter 265. Hua Yan is not a reckless person, otherwise he would not have been sent by Emperor Yu to do such an important thing. Seeing Zhong Ju's arrogant expression, Hua Yan's heart jumped. Could it be that this Zhong Ju has some treasure that he has not used? Hua Yan's mind rapidly ponders. In terms of personal strength, I am not much different from this Zhong Ju. I only rely on top-grade immortal sword, top-grade battle armor, various immortal pills and talisman seals. If this Zhong Ju really has some powerful treasure, then victory is hard to say. At this moment, Hua Yan's momentum pauses. To establish dominance, he must win. If he is defeated by Zhong Ju, then his face will be completely lost. Arrogant people must have something to rely on, especially those with revered status. He has already seen some of my details, yet he still dares to be so arrogant. Without a treasure, that is impossible. Hua Yan is very certain. At the same time, in Hua Yan's mind, the target of his dominance has begun to change. Hua Yan guessed correctly. Zhong Ju does indeed have a treasure that he has not used. This is the treasure that Senior Lan originally bestowed to Zhong Ju. This is also why Zhong Ju is so good to Qin Yu and so respectful to Senior Lan. Although Zhong Ju does not want to use his final trump card, but if he is forced into a corner, he will naturally use it. Thus, Zhong Ju dares to be arrogant. If he is arrogant without strength, once defeated, it will be even more humiliating. Thus, Fong Tian is not arrogant, because Fong Tian's only reliance is the Inheritance Dragon Pearl, and the Inheritance Dragon Pearl is the entire Dragon Clan's, not his alone. Moreover, Fong Tian does not have enough confidence to defeat Hua Yan if he uses it. The target of Hua Yan's dominance has instead become Fong Tian. Ha ha. Sword Immortal Hua Yan suddenly looks up to the sky and laughs loudly. His laughter becomes louder and louder, to the point that it makes those with lower power feel dizzy. Suddenly, Hua Yan stops laughing and coldly looks at Fong Tian and Zhong Ju. Dominance, humph, I am a dignified immortal realm emissary, do I still need to assert dominance? A dignified immortal realm emissary, do I still need to assert dominance? A single arrogant sentence, but it causes the loose immortals present to involuntarily admire Hua Yen even more. The reason why I'm looking for you now is not to establish my might, but to ask why you destroyed the Qingshu Temple's 10-development illusionary formation. The Xiaxianists of this Tanglong continent are part of my immortal Tao. As the immortal realm emissary, I naturally have the duty to protect the interests of our Xiaxianist section, so I, Hua Yen, will say it here. If anyone dares to go against the Xiaxianist sects, then they are going against me, Hua Yen, and the sword in my hand. Hua Yan's voice is loud and clear. Everyone on Mount Qing Su can hear him clearly. All the bodiless immortals were pleasantly surprised, and over 10,000 bodiless immortals cheered in unison. As for Feng Tian and Zhong Ju, you too relied on your own strength to destroy the 10-development illusionary formation of the Qing Su Temple. Then I, Hua Yen, will come to you too to reason with you. Is that not okay? Hua Yen says in a loud and clear voice. Feng Tian and Zhong Ju's faces were cold. Behind Zhong Ju, Qin Yu and his two brothers were sighing. Big brother, this Hua Yen really knows how to talk. He can even turn black into white. He obviously wants to establish his might, but he makes it sound so dignified. Ho Fei says with dissatisfaction through sound transmission. Qin Yu says through his holy sense, don't worry. Zhong Ju and Feng Tian are the two unparalleled existences of the mortal realm. How can the two be stumped by this problem? Indeed, Feng Tian spoke. Hua Yen. Feng Tian's face is serious. No matter if it is the mortal realm or the upper realm, I believe that the strong are respected. It is because the strong are respected that your Baka, Emperor Yu, became the leader of one of the immortal realm's major powers. The strong are respected. In the eyes of Brother Zhong Ju and I, the Qing Su Temple is just a small sect. We can step on it whenever we want. Now that we have stepped on it, what? You are not happy. Hua Yen, you are already a golden immortal, not a hot-blooded youth who just started cultivating. You are not an idiot to talk about righteousness, are you? That is just a lie. Feng Tian laughs coldly. If you want to establish your might, just say it. Don't say so much nonsense. Saying so many dignified words gives me goosebumps all over my body. I even look down on you even more. Immediately, the experts of the Dragon Clan immediately agree. Clan leader is right. If you want to fight, just do it. Don't talk so dignified. Humph, what are you playing at? Black Dragon Ao Su laughs coldly. The Dragon Clan is proud and arrogant. Facing the Dragon Clan's mockery, Hua Yen only smiles faintly, not angry at all. I did not say anything righteous, I only said, I am the immortal realm's emissary. They are people of a Xiuxian sect. They support me, so I naturally have to protect them. Whoever dares to touch them, I will cut off that hand. Hua Yan's voice gradually becomes cold and harsh. Dragon Clan leader, do you understand? Feng Tian smiles faintly. If you want to fight, then do it quickly. Hua Yen smiles brilliantly. Since you can't wait, I want to see, on what basis do you dare to humiliate my immortal sect? Suddenly, like a blooming lotus, Hua Yan's entire body is surrounded by rays of sword energy. His entire body is like a sword that supports the heavens. Hua Yan's right hand slowly grasps the sword hilt behind his back, slowly pulling it out. In the process of pulling out the sword energy is rapidly rising at a terrifying speed. Feng Tian raises his head, a dragon roar rises from his mouth. At the same time, Feng Tian disappears, and an enormous golden dragon over 1,000 meters long appears on top of Qing Su Mountain. That enormous and noble aura naturally spreads out along with the golden dragon's breath. On the scene, except for a few people, almost the majority of the people feel that terrifying pressure. 7 stars sword art, starting move. That low chant rises. The right hand that was originally slowly pulling out the sword instantly disappears. At the same time, a brilliant and sharp light shoots out, directly chopping towards the golden dragon. Poof! The 5-clawed golden dragon's dragon claw easily breaks the starting move. Hua Yan, you want to use the starting move to deal with me, aren't you too arrogant? Feng Tian's voice rises directly from the five-clawed golden dragon's mouth. Good, since you want to taste my power, I won't be merciful. Hua Yan lightly smiles. Hua Yan's back is ramrod straight. His entire body is like a sharp sword. The immortal sword in his hand transforms into tens of thousands of sword shadows. 7 stars sword art. Twinkling brilliance. Shadow. Like a dream, one sword shadow after another instantly covers the entire sky, densely packed and endless. All of the loose immortals below feel a burst of palpitations in their hearts, because everyone feels that any one of the sword energy can easily kill them. The five-clawed golden dragon Feng Tian also feels that this move of Hua Yan's should be relatively powerful, so much so that this is only a foreshadowing. Immediately, the five-clawed golden dragon's entire body flashes with rays of sparkling and translucent golden light. As the golden light condenses, the five-clawed golden dragon's entire body is as dazzling as the sun. 7 stars sword art. Dubhe, mystery. Hua Yan says softly. The immortal sword in Hua Yan's hand suddenly breaks through the sky. The countless sword shadows in the sky actually begin to rotate, then the rotating circle instantly expands by 2 times, but at the moment when it expands to the maximum, it instantly shrinks to the limit, completely merging into the immortal sword. The immortal sword's brilliance is restrained, but that terrifying aura has a kind of heavy feeling. This guy Feng Tian is about to use his ultimate move. Below, Zhongju secretly says. Facing this move, the five-clawed golden dragon's entire body's brilliance rises again, immediately covering the rays of the sun in the sky. At the same time, the five-clawed golden dragon's body instantly shrinks. From over 1,000 meters long, it suddenly becomes 10 meters long. Below, Zhongju's eyes brighten. The five-clawed golden dragon's fifth claw. At this moment, this 10-meter-long golden dragon actually has 5 dragon claws. This 5th dragon claw is at the abdomen area. The dragon claw instantly becomes larger and longer. The entire dragon claw is dazzling. Hua Yan's immortal sword and the five-clawed golden dragon's 5th dragon claw. Direct confrontation. Both of them have enough confidence in their strongest ultimate move, but the result is, the immortal sword vibrates, while the five-clawed golden dragon flies backwards. At the same time a ray of light flashes. In an instant, the 10-meter-long golden dragon once again becomes a 1,000-meter-long giant golden dragon. Relying on the power of a top-grade immortal sword, you can only do this. Feng Tian's cold voice comes from the giant golden dragon's mouth. At this moment, Hua Yan's heart is also shocked. A super-divine beast is worthy of being called a super-divine beast. It is only at the 12th tribulation, it actually dares to use its own claws to fight against a top-grade immortal weapon. Although it lost in the end, it still managed to block my top-grade immortal sword. The strength of a super-divine beast's body is indeed formidable and terrifying. Although I am in an advantageous position, it will still take some time to defeat him. Hua Yan secretly ponders, I want to establish my power, I must end this battle quickly, otherwise if I drag it out too long, the effect of establishing my power will not be effective. Hua Yan's heart hardens. Hua Yan flips his hand. A purple talisman appears in his hand. Feng Tian, you think you are so great just because you are a 5-clawed golden dragon? Then have a taste of the tempestuous lightning talisman. Hua Yan imbues energy into the purple talisman. Immediately the purple talisman emits rays of lightning, then soars into the sky and flies towards Feng Tian. Feng Tian's face changes greatly with a single glance. Tempestuous lightning talisman. Sealing a seal in a talisman, its power is much weaker than when an expert uses it himself. This tempestuous lightning talisman was personally created by Emperor Yu. If Emperor Yu uses it, any random tempestuous lightning talisman can kill a level 9 golden immortal. However, Hua Yan is too weak. The tempestuous lightning talisman he uses can at most kill a level 3 or 4 golden immortal. A level 3 or 4 golden immortal is equivalent to a level 1 golden immortal sword immortal. Using it to deal with Feng Tian is more or less enough. Facing this life and death situation, Feng Tian swallows the inheritance dragon pearl. At the same time, with a dragon roar, the 1,000-meter-long golden dragon turns into a 10-meter-long small dragon. Although its size has become smaller, Fong Tian's defense has increased by who knows how much. Boom! The tempestuous lightning talisman shatters. One lightning after another fiercely strikes Fong Tian's body. No matter how Fong Tian tries to dodge, every lightning bolt seems to have a mind of its own, still striking Fong Tian's body. In the blink of an eye, 100 lightning bolts strike down. 100 tempestuous lightning. Dragon scales shatter. Blood flows out. Fong Tian instantly transforms into human form. The inheritance dragon pearl in his body emits a large amount of energy, quickly healing his body's injuries. Luckily, it is the 100 tempestuous lightning. If it was the 1,000 tempestuous lightning, I reckon I would be finished. Fong Tian secretly sighs in relief. This tempestuous lightning technique is an extremely powerful attack technique of the immortal realm. It is divided into 4 levels: tempestuous lightning, 10 tempestuous lightning, 100 tempestuous lightning, and 1,000 tempestuous lightning. The 1,000 tempestuous lightning is too powerful, even for Emperor Yu. Unless he is fighting against an expert of the same level, would he rarely use the 1,000 tempestuous lightning. In fact, the 100 tempestuous lightning is already very powerful. If an expert directly uses the 100 tempestuous lightning to attack, then it can deal with a level 3 or 4 mystic immortal. However, after the 100 tempestuous lightning is merged into the talisman, its power is only 10%. This 10% is enough to deal with a level 8 or 9 golden immortal. However, the 100 tempestuous lightning talisman also needs to be activated. The higher the power of the user, the more energy it can activate. Hua Yan is only a level 1 golden immortal. He can activate only 10% of this 10%. That is why he only heavily injured Fong Tian. Hua Yan. A cold shout sounds. Zhong Ju arrives beside Fong Tian, coldly looking at Hua Yan. Hua Yan, you are also an immortal realm emissary, but now you can only rely on the 100 tempestuous lightning talisman to injure others. Truly laughable. At this time Zhong Ju stands up. After all, Fong Tian is already heavily injured. Even though Fong Tian is heavily injured, he still does not lower his head, also coldly looking at Hua Yan. Hua Yan, this 100 tempestuous lightning talisman is also an extremely powerful talisman. If an expert uses it, he can definitely defeat a level 8 or 9 golden immortal, but your power is too weak. You cannot completely activate the power within. You can only injure me, but not kill me. Really? Hua Yan slightly smiles. Fong Tian and Zhong Ju's faces instantly change. Because, at this moment, 500 or 600 tempestuous lightning talismans have appeared in Hua Yan's hand. One talisman was enough to heavily injure Fong Tian, 5 or 6. Fong Tian and Zhong Ju will definitely not be able to resist. As an immortal realm emissary, how can I only have 100 tempestuous lightning talisman? Even though the 100 tempestuous lightning talisman is precious, it is nothing to me. If the two of you really want to continue fighting, I also do not mind. Isn't it just spending a few more 100 tempestuous lightning talismans? I do not care. I have a lot of these things. Hua Yan indifferently says. Fong Tian and Zhong Ju look at each other and smile bitterly. Rich and overbearing. The 100 tempestuous lightning talisman. This kind of talisman is extremely precious in the immortal realm. Normal Xian immortals probably do not have many of them, but behind Hua Yan is one of the top few in the immortal realm, Emperor Yu. To Emperor Yu, making the 100 tempestuous lightning talisman is indeed very easy. Perhaps only the 1,000 tempestuous lightning talisman would cause Emperor Yu to feel distressed. Emperor Yu still does not care about the 100 tempestuous lightning talisman. A good opportunity. At this moment, Qin Yu's eyes brighten behind Zhong Ju. If the information regarding the sword immortal puppet that Uncle Lon left behind is not wrong, then this is the best opportunity to establish our might. Moreover, looking at how rich this sword immortal Hua Yan is, he definitely has a lot of top-grade elemental holy ore. On the side of the loose immortals, every one of their faces is filled with joy, looking at sword immortal Hua Yan with reverence. While the side of the chaotic Astral Ocean and the Dragon Clan are feeling powerless, a voice rises. Oh, sword immortal Hua Yan. Ha ha. Fellow Hua Yan, I am Lon Feng. Following the loud laughter, a cold male carrying an immortal sword appears out of thin air on Mount Qing Su. It is sword immortal Lan Feng. Chapter 266. Sword Immortal Lan Feng. Reverend Ming Liang and the other loose immortals were shocked. They did not expect that the mysterious sword immortal who stole the heaven-sundering diagram would dare to return when the immortal realm emissary Hua Yen arrived. Sword Immortal Lan Feng. Feng Tian and Zhong Ju were shocked. The chaotic Astralocians who Lian Xiao, Fu Yunzi, Ao Su, Yen Shan, and the others were all shocked. Only Qin Yu was secretly laughing. Big brother, what's up with that sword immortal Lan Feng? Does he really have the confidence to deal with this Hua Yen? But that 100 Thunder Annihilation Talisman can even injure the Dragon Clan's patriarch Feng Tian, and sword immortal Lan Feng has many of these 100 Thunder Annihilation Talismans. Ho Fei said through his spiritual sense. Ho Fei and Kuro also knew that Qin Yu had a sword immortal puppet, but they did not know that Lan Feng was that sword immortal puppet. Fei, Xiaohei, do you still remember that Uncle Lan once gave me a sword immortal puppet? Qin Yu said through his spiritual sense. Ho Fei and Kuro stared at the sword immortal puppet. At this moment, the sword immortal puppet unexpectedly looked at Ho Fei and Kuro. That look in its eyes and Qin Yu's eyes were so similar. Big brother, he can't be. Ho Fei and Kuro at this moment did not know that they were really stupid. Qin Yu smiled slightly. Although he did not answer, Ho Fei and Kuro completely understood. Lan Feng, sword immortal Lan Feng? You are that Lan Feng who took the heaven-sundering diagram that belonged to Emperor Yu? Hua Yen looked at Lan Feng and said coldly, no one would be happy when an enemy took your treasure and showed it off in front of you. Belongs to Emperor Yu? Lan Feng smiled faintly and continued, fellow Hua Yen should be careful with your words. As far as I know, this heaven-sundering diagram originally belonged to immortal Emperor Ni Yang. Afterwards, in the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion, the 3 heaven-sundering diagrams were obtained by Inu Palace's Yen Ji, Dragon Clan's Yen Mo, and Stellar Pavilion's Qin Yu. As for the heaven-sundering diagram that I have now, it originally belonged to Qin Yu. As for Ming Liang and the others, they had entered the hidden dragon continent and snatched it. They had even caused the deaths of millions of mortals. You guys snatched it away, I snatched it away. What makes you think that this heaven-sundering diagram belongs to Emperor Yu? Zhong Ju guessed that Lan Feng was from the same sect as Uncle Lan, so he naturally stood on Lan Feng's side. Lan Feng, Lan Feng, Lan Feng, Lan Feng, Lan, and Lan, taking it at Lan, taking it now, take it now, take it, Lan have it. Question mark. Hua Yen, Reverend Ming Liang, and the other loose immortals were all puzzled. Lan Feng flipped his hand, and an ink painting appeared in his hand. He smiled and said, Qin Yu's master and I have some relationship. It is reasonable to say that I am returning it to its rightful owner. After speaking, Lan Feng smiled and looked at Qin Yu. Qin Yu very timely showed a shocked expression. Lan Feng and Qin Yu looked at each other. Big brother, your sword immortal puppet, how come it looks exactly like a real person? Ho Fei was really too surprised. He knew that the sword immortal puppet did not have a soul. How could it look exactly like a real person? Qin Yu said with his spiritual sense, this was created by Uncle Lan. The sword immortal puppet's magic is not something I can imagine. Moreover, multitasking, I even feel that the sword immortal puppet is my body. Qin Yu sighed in his heart. This sword immortal puppet was very magical, as if it was another body. Returning it to its rightful owner, haha. Speaking of returning it to its rightful owner, it should be given to me. Immortal Emperor Ni Yang was the great emperor of the immortal realm. This heaven-sundering diagram was left behind by immortal Emperor Ni Yang. It should belong to the immortal realm. I am the immortal realm emissary. The heaven-sundering diagram should belong to me. Hua Yen smiled indifferently. On the surface, Hua Yen was smiling, but in reality, he was somewhat worried. Just as Ming Liang said, this sword immortal Lan Feng should be a level 1 golden immortal, or even higher. Hua Yan's spiritual sense was unable to detect Lan Feng's level, which meant that Lan Feng's level was not lower than his. The enemy was also a sword immortal, and his power was not lower than his. Hua Yan firmly believed that the mortal realm did not have any golden immortals, unless they descended from the immortal realm. Which immortal emperor's emissary is he? There are only a few who dare to compete with Emperor Yu. Hua Yan thought quickly. You are someone from the immortal realm, am I not? Lan Feng said with a smile. Hua Yan was startled. Sure enough, he really is someone from the immortal realm. I don't care so much. No matter what, I will first see how strong he is. If he is really strong, then I will plan. Hua Yan was determined. You are someone from the immortal realm? Ha ha. I came out from the passage between the two realms, and everyone here saw it. Where did you come from? This heaven-sundering diagram was obtained by Ming Liang, and he offered it to Emperor Yu. You dare to steal a treasure offered to Emperor Yu. No matter who is behind you, they will not be able to protect you. Hua Yan slowly placed his right hand on the sword hilt on his back. Below, Qin Yu's mouth had a trace of a smile. Sword immortal Lan Feng's face was cold. Humph, Hua Yan, do you want to humiliate yourself? Humiliate myself? Hua Yan sneered. Who will be humiliated? It is too early to say. And at this time, Zhongju's body emitted a surge of energy, which immediately covered the 50 experts of the chaotic astral ocean as well as Qin Yu and his two brothers. The Dragon Clan's Fong Tian also released his energy to protect the experts of the Dragon Clan. The loose immortals quickly retreated into Heavenly Palace. Sword immortals' attacks were extremely condensed. Once the sword energy touched an ordinary loose immortal expert, even a 10th tribulation or 11th tribulation expert would not be able to resist. Two great sword immortals faced off. Immortal realm emissary, Hua Yan, against the mysterious sword immortal, Lan Feng. Since you want to fight, I will naturally accompany you. Lan Feng's right hand slowly reached the sword hilt on his back. The two sword immortals' auras were swift and fierce. At the same time, they drew their swords. Two rays of sword energy soared into the sky. On the battlefield, besides Fong Tian, Zhongju and Qin Yu, no one could clearly see what had just happened. Fong Tian and Zhongju's strength had reached that level, while Qin Yu's was sword immortal Lan Feng's doppelganger. The sword energy crisscrossed. The two figures only exchanged a single blow, but the entire Qing Su mountain was cut by a horizontal sword and a vertical sword, creating two huge chasms. The chasms were so deep that they even exceeded the height of Qing Su mountain, extending into the ground. In just one exchange, more than half of Qing Su mountain was destroyed. The two sword immortals Hua Yan and Lan Feng simultaneously stood in the air, the wind blowing, their swords still in the scabbards on their backs. Only at this moment, Hua Yan's face was full of shock and disbelief. Heaven-sundering sword art. You practice the heaven-sundering sword art? Hua Yan simply could not believe it. Lan Feng faintly smiled. The heaven-sundering sword art has a total of 9 moves, just now was only the 4th move. The remaining 5 moves are even more powerful. We will have many more opportunities. Next, I will let you deeply feel the power of the heaven-sundering sword art. Hua Yan's heart was shocked to the extreme. Heaven-sundering sword art, ever since Immortal Emperor Ni Yang's death, this heaven-sundering sword art has been lost. It is known as the strongest offensive sword art in the immortal realm. Could it be that it has a successor? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Hua Yan's 7-star sword art could be considered a relatively high-level sword art, but compared to the heaven-sundering sword art, it was still a notch weaker. Below, Qin Yu secretly sighed. The 4th move, just the 4th move used up more than 10% of the energy of the top-grade elemental holy or, the loss is really great. But fortunately, the remaining energy is enough to use the 9th move. Today's investment was so great, after a while I will take it all back. He only had 1 piece of top-grade elemental holy ore. The heaven-sundering sword art had a total of 9 moves. The last move required 80% of the energy of the top-grade elemental holy ore. Although the power of the 4th move was not small, but compared to the ninth move, the difference was too great. Only 10% of the energy was enough. Adding on the energy of the first move to seize the heaven sundering diagram, the remaining energy was 80%. Now, I should let this Hua Yan understand, in terms of defense, even if he has a top-grade immortal armor, he still cannot compare to my sword immortal puppet. Qin Yu's face had a trace of a smile. He still remembered the introduction of the sword immortal puppet that Uncle Lon had left behind. The sword immortal puppet was made from a special kind of material. In Uncle Lan's words, the sword immortal puppet's degree of toughness can be said to be indestructible. Even if a Xian immortal descends, he would not be able to break the sword immortal puppet. Of course, all of this must be supplied with top-grade elemental holy ore. Without top-grade elemental holy ore, no matter how tough the sword immortal puppet is, it is just a piece of scrap metal. Lan Feng, humph, so what if you practice the heaven-sundering sword art? Your attack is powerful, but what about your defense? Hua Yan sneered. At the same time, a 100 Thunder paralyzing talisman appeared in Hua Yan's palm. Feng Tian and Zhong Ju's faces changed. Just now, it was the 100 Thunder paralyzing talisman that seriously injured Feng Tian. The 100 Thunder paralyzing talisman's power did not need to be explained. The Loose Immortals experts all had happy expressions. 100 Thunder paralyzing talisman, nothing more. Lan Feng said with a light smile. Hua Yan's face changed. A ray of light shined in Hua Yan's palm, and at the same time, the 100 Thunder paralyzing talisman flew towards sword immortal Lan Feng. At this moment, the countless experts below, the chaotic Astral Ocean, the Dragon Clan, the Loose Immortal side, and some ordinary Xiationists around Mount Qing Su all raised their heads to watch the battle between the two sword immortals in the sky. Naturally, everyone stared at the 100 Thunder paralyzing talisman. Pang! The 100 Thunder paralyzing talisman shattered, and at the same time, a ray of lightning shot out from it. Target: Lan Feng. Every ray of lightning struck Lan Feng's body, but Lan Feng did not even try to dodge. A ray of lightning only splashed purple sparks on Lan Feng's body. Lan Feng, bathed in the sparks, even looked at Lan Feng with a smile. Even if a ray of lightning struck Lan Feng's head, Lan Feng's robe would fly up to block the lightning. After 100 rays of lightning, Lan Feng was not harmed at all. Hua Yan's face was somewhat pale. It was not because of his power, but because he discovered that his opponent also had a top-grade immortal armor. Your immortal sword is a top-grade immortal weapon? Hua Yan said coldly. Below, Qin Yu could not help but smile. In fact, even he himself did not know what material the sword immortal puppet's body was made of. Only Qin Yu knew that the sword immortal puppet's material was something he had never seen before. At the same time, it was extremely tough. Top-grade immortal sword? You can say that. Lan Feng smiled. Hua Yan asked again, your robe is a top-grade immortal weapon? Yes, you can say that. Lan Feng nodded. Lan Feng's words were, in fact, Qin Yu's words. The special material of his robe could be considered a top-grade immortal weapon. Who taught you the sundering the heavens sword art? Hua Yan frowned. Who taught you? Lan Feng pondered for a moment. To tell the truth, I have never met my master. This sundering the heavens sword art was taught to me by my senior. He accepted me as his disciple. Although Senior Lan is my senior, he is also my master. Hua Yan's face changed. You have a senior? From Hua Yan's point of view, any sword immortal who practiced the sundering the heavens sword art was a big threat to him. One sword immortal who practiced the sundering the heavens sword art was already unacceptable. Now, he said he had another senior. How could Hua Yan not feel angry? Yes, and my senior is also in the mortal realm. Lan Feng smiled brightly. He is also in the mortal realm. Hua Yan's heart trembled. One Lan Feng was already enough to make him feel uncertain. Lan Feng's offensive and defensive weapons were not weaker than his. Moreover, Lan Feng's sword art surpassed his. Against Lan Feng, Hua Yan had no confidence at all. Now, a senior called Lan Feng had appeared, but was actually Lan Feng's master. Are you lying to me? Hua Yan smiled. Letting a level 1 golden immortal pass through the spatial barrier is already very difficult. Looking at the demon realm, devil realm, and immortal realm, I can't think of anyone who could let a more powerful expert pass through the spatial barrier. Lan Feng smiled indifferently. It's up to you to believe it or not. Below, Zhong Ju and Fong Tian were thinking. This Lan Feng called his senior as Senior Lan. Could it be? Senior Lan is really this Lan Feng senior? Qin Yu couldn't help but smile. Lan Feng's words, as well as his and Zhong Ju's words, all created a false background. A sect with a strong background. The younger generation of this sect had Qin Yu, Ho Fei, Kuro, and others. The older generation had Uncle Lan, Lan Feng, and other experts. This false sect made Fong Tian, Zhong Ju, and others begin to believe it. Hua Yan, just now you used the 100 Thunder paralyzing talisman to attack me. Is it my turn to attack now? Lan Feng suddenly said. Hua Yan's heart jumped, and his power suddenly rose to the peak. Lan Feng saw Hua Yan's expression and laughed loudly. I was just joking with you, you don't need to be so nervous. Lan Feng then looked at Qin Yu. Little friend Qin Yu, I will leave first. After a while, I have something I need you to help me with. What is it? Qin Yu had a puzzled look. Fong Tian, Zhong Ju, and Hua Yan also looked at Qin Yu. They were also puzzled as to why a sword immortal would ask Qin Yu to help him with something. Haha, you will know when the time comes. Lan Feng's figure moved and disappeared into thin air. Little friend Qin Yu, what do you think Lan Feng wants you to do? Fong Tian asked. At the same time, Zhong Ju, Sword Immortal Hua Yan, as well as countless loose immortals, Chaotic Astral Ocean, and Dragon Clan experts all looked at Qin Yu. Everyone wanted to know what Lan Feng wants Qin Yu to do. Qin Yu had an innocent face. I also don't know. But in his heart, Qin Yu was smiling like a flower. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.